Chapter 927. Luminous Eye. Testing the sword in the purple shadow secret realm. Luminous, I can penetrate illusions, illusion techniques, and all sorts of skillful means of concealment. Lu Chongqing raised an eyebrow upon hearing Lu Miao's words. As far as he knew, the Bedrock Shatter Dao Foundation, the With Flaw Dao Foundation, aside from the traits of the cultivation technique, basically had no substantial abilities or effects. Only those with the Without Flaw Dao Foundation and above would possess characteristic abilities. He hadn't expected that the Dao Foundation seed formed by Lu Miaoyun through her cultivation of the Heavenly Longevity Technique would have such an effect. It was indeed a surprise. However, this Dao Foundation effect seemed more like an ability of a technique. An ability obtained from the Luminous Treasure Tree. After all, the effect of the Luminous Treasure Tree was to condense luminous sweet dew. The sweet dew could be used to wipe the eyes, making them clear and bright, enhancing the divine skills related to the spiritual eyes. It wasn't unreasonable to gain such an ability. Could it be that using the luminous sweet dew to wipe the eyes over a long time and reaching the limit could grant such a luminous eye ability? Lu Changsheng's heart paused, and he made a guess. He had once tried wiping his eyes with the luminous sweet dew, but since the sweet dew was quickened by Lu Miaoyun and was too scarce, he felt nothing at all. It wasn't even as good as dual cultivating with Lu Miaoyun. Through dual cultivation with Lu Miaoyun over the years, he did feel that his vision had become much clearer. It's quite good. In the future, when our children gain treasures from their experiences outside, we can ask Yuner to appraise them. Or, if any spies want to infiltrate our family, Yuner can see through their disguises with just a glance. Lu Chongqing laughed and said, not taking it too seriously. Lu Miao's ability would be very suitable for exploring ancient ruins and cave mansions. However, he wouldn't let his wife do such things. Moreover, because of the characteristics of the Heavenly Longevity Technique, Lu Miaoyun couldn't stay too far away from spirit plants, unable to leave the vicinity of Bai Lake Mountain. Otherwise, even if not venturing to explore relics or secret realms, with the luminous eye, she could become an artifact appraiser, skilled at finding bargains. It's not that powerful, but I do feel that I have a bit more affinity and insight towards grasses and spirit plants. I estimate that with some more time, I could master techniques like the Spring Wind Turns to Rain Technique, Earth Spirit Moistening Jade Technique, and Myriad Woods Condensation Technique to become a second-order spiritual planter. Lu Miaoyun said with pursed lips and continued to share her joy. Aside from the knowledge and differentiation of spirit plants, a spiritual plant master mainly needs to master the relevant techniques. Skills like the Spring Wind Turns to Rain Technique, Earth Spirit Moistening Jade Technique, and Myriad Woods Condensation Technique belong to the advanced skills of a spiritual plant master. You are indeed my dear Miaoyun, truly wonderful. Lu Chongqing wrapped his arms around his petite wife and praised her aloud. Since family affairs had gradually been handed over to the children and they cultivated the Heavenly Longevity Technique, Lu Miaoyun and others also spent their time practicing the 100 arts of cultivation. After all, there had to be something to do to pass the time when one was idle. Areas like formation, alchemy, artifact refining, and talisman making required high innate talent and were expensive to practice. So on ordinary days, she studied the spirit plants, spirit cooking, wine brewing, healing, and music mastery with Chu Jinjin. Because of the cultivation technique traits of the Heavenly Longevity Technique, they had very poor effects in offensive skills. Even simple skills like fire control, insect killing technique, and decomposition technique were much weaker than other cultivators of the same level. But they showed a quite good effect in healing technique, quickening technique, and spring wind technique, making them very suitable for roles such as spiritual planters and healers. It's not me, it's all thanks to you, my husband, Lu Miaoyun said sweetly, looping her arm through Lu Changsheng's. She was very happy about her recent breakthrough to foundation establishment, with her smile radiating joy. Ha ha! Let's go home and celebrate Yuner's breakthrough to foundation establishment. Lu Chongqing gently ran his fingers through her hair, ready to take his 3 wives back to the Lu family mansion for a grand celebration. Husband, wait! Lu Miaoyun spoke, going to the luminous treasure tree, squatting down, and gently lifting her hand. A pool of azure sweet dew, shimmering with a hint of golden luster, slowly seeped out from the roots of the luminous treasure tree. It was the luminous sweet dew condensed by the luminous treasure tree. Husband, this is the luminous sweet dew condensed by the luminous treasure tree. If it is used regularly to wipe and cleanse the eyes, it should be possible to form an ability similar to the luminous eye. Lu Miaoyun enveloped the crystal-clear sweet dew with her mana and said to Lu Chongsheng, I almost forgot about this. Lu Chongsheng eyed the sweet dew before him. The luminous treasure tree at its root could condense a portion of luminous sweet dew every 30 years. But his attention was all on Lu Miaoyun's breakthrough to foundation establishment recently, and he had forgotten about this luminous sweet dew. This made him think the combination of the myriad spirits bottle and the heavenly longevity technique was quite effective. Not only did it steadily improve his wife's cultivation level, but it didn't let the growth and harvest of spirit plants fall behind either. He took out a porcelain bottle from his storage ring, stored the sweet dew, and passed it to Lu Miaoyun. Yuner, you can give this sweet dew to Zixiao later. She's an array master and cultivates the spiritual eye pupil skill. This dew will be of great help to her. Lu Chongsheng thus instructed, letting Lu Miaoyun give the gift on his behalf to thank Ling Zixiao. He hoped the two would become as close as possible. Okay, Lu Miaoyun agreed with a nod. The trio returned to the Lu family mansion at Bai Yun Peak. Hey, your sister Yun? Madam, why have you suddenly become so young? The concubines and children in the large courtyard were taken aback upon seeing Lu Miaoyun. Hee, I have good news to announce. Yuner has broken through to foundation establishment today. Lu Chongxing said cheerfully. He had prepared to hold a foundation establishment ceremony for Lu Miaoyun, naturally without any intention of keeping the news a secret. Ah, congratulations, Sister Yun. Congratulations, Aunt. Congratulations, Madam. These concubines and children were all surprised, and they congratulated her. Wuxia World. Site. Co. Chapter 928. Luminous Eye. Testing swords in the purple shadow secret realm. His words and eyes conveyed respect and admiration, not only for Lu Miaoyun, his official wife, but also for a foundation establishment great cultivator, the foundation establishment ancestor. Then Lu Chongxing called his son, Lu Yun, and instructed him to prepare for the foundation establishment ceremony. Ah, mother, you've broken through to foundation establishment. Lu Yun looked at Lu Miaoyun, who appeared to be only 17 or 18, and was utterly baffled. He had never imagined that in such a short time apart, his mother would break through to foundation establishment, leaving him baffled and feeling as if he were dreaming. Isn't it quite normal for your mother to break through to foundation establishment? If you diligently cultivate on ordinary days, you might break through to foundation establishment in the future. Lu Chongxing said to his son. With so many children in the family, he couldn't possibly attend to all of them personally. But if the children were motivated enough with the family's resources, they could cultivate to the 9th level peak of energy refinement. As a father, he would always be prepared with foundation establishment elixirs and foundation establishment spiritual objects for them to attempt foundation establishment. How is that normal? Lu Yun really wanted to say this, but still, he obediently responded respectfully. Your son will certainly try his best. Then, he turned to his mother, Lu Miaoyun, and congratulated her. Your son congratulates mother on her breakthrough to foundation establishment, her mana achieving great success, her immortal path flourishing, and the future prospects of reaching core formation. Where did you learn such exaggerated flattery? The path of cultivation should be grounded and modest. Don't look beyond what is feasible. Lu Miaoyun chided her son with a glance. Yuner isn't wrong. With today's breakthrough to foundation establishment, core formation is just a matter of time, Lu Chongxing said with a smile. Husband, thinking of the heavenly longevity technique and the myriad spirits heaven do, Lu Miaoyun felt that indeed, core formation was likely, and looked at Lu Chongxing with soft, tender eyes. Lu Yun, witnessing this exchange, felt somewhat redundant, completely unsure of how to engage in his parents' conversation. Husband, perhaps we don't need a big ceremony. Just a small family celebration would suffice, Lu Miaoyun suggested, her arm linked with Lu Changxing's. She was not fond of large gatherings, feeling that a celebration with just the Bai Lake Mountain and Qingzhou Mountain families would suffice. It still needs to be done, though not too elaborately. Just around Bai Lake Mountain. Invite those who do business with us. Lu Chongqing pondered slightly, then said to his son Lu Yun, "Xia the Novel Fire. Net asterisk website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality." "Father, when should we set the date?" Lu Yun immediately asked. "Just handle those arrangements yourself." Lu Chongqing waved his hand dismissively, feeling it was a trivial matter. "Let's set it for 2 months from now. Keep it simple and just a bit lively." Lu Miaoyun worried her son might misjudge, instructed. After they had discussed everything, later that evening, Lu Chongqing hosted a family banquet to celebrate. The other concubines, upon hearing the news, looked at Lu Miaoyun with eyes full of respect and envy, especially those who were daughters of families pledged to Lu Chongqing later on. Their talents were quite decent, possessing middle-grade spiritual roots. If they cultivated diligently, and even if childbearing delayed them by 3 to 5, or even 10 years, they still hoped to cultivate to the 9th level peak of energy refinement and attempt foundation establishment by the age of 60. But in their circumstances, without the resources, they dared not attempt foundation establishment. To do so would be akin to seeking death. Now, seeing Lu Miaoyun's breakthrough to foundation establishment, they naturally guessed that Lu Chongqing had supported her with resources. They felt envious, hoping one day to receive Lu Chongqing's favor and support for foundation establishment. "I wonder if I could give birth to a Qilin child." One concubine looked at her protruding belly, hoping it would perform well and produce a Qilin child, thereby gaining Lu Chongqing's favor. Having been at Bai Lake Mountain for many years, they had come to understand. Without extraordinary capabilities, gaining Lu Chongqing's favor would only come from the value of their children. Like a concubine named Xiao Yuyao, originally bought by Lu Chongqing as a maid, but because she gave birth to a son with a 4th-grade spiritual root, Lu Qingxian, her conditions were far superior to many others. Another concubine, Xia Jiue, who had given birth to 4 children all with middle-grade spiritual roots, had even more enviable conditions. Deep into the night at Baiyun Peak, in an ancient-style room. Afterward. Husband, Lu Miaoyun, who had just broken through to foundation establishment, was now limp as mud, her face fresh and ethereal, flushed with a lazy post-activity glow, her delicate brows and eyes exuding a charming allure. Though she had broken through to foundation establishment and the heavenly longevity technique endowed her with stamina and recovery beyond ordinary, she was still no match for Lu Chongqing's vigor. After all, Lu Chongqing's stamina was simply astounding. All these years, their intimate moments were usually spent with Chu Jinjin or Little Qing Xia Jiue, Xiao Yuyao, among others. It had been rare for them to have such alone time. Today, celebrating her breakthrough to foundation establishment, they revisited their wedding night together. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 929. Luminous Eye. Testing swords in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Hehe. So, are you comfortable, Yuner? Lu Chongqing noticed his wife was genuinely tired and that continuing any further would likely cause her to faint. So he carried her back to their bed. He thought to himself that probably only a nascent soul female cultivator, no, a high-rank body cultivator could solely withstand his punishment. Even after decades of marriage, uttering such embarrassing words was still somewhat hard for Lu Miaoyun. But she knew her husband often liked to tease them this way, and with eyes closed, she whispered softly, "Comfortable. Husband, why don't you go find Sister Huan and the others?" After gently being placed on the bed, Lu Miaoyun's jade body glistened with sweat, her skin sleek and shining with luster, and she spoke in a soft voice. "No need. Tonight I will stay with Yuner." Lu Chongqing cast a cleansing technique to clean the room and peacefully embraced his wife to sleep, experiencing the effects of the tender embrace technique. Because dual cultivation with Lu Miaoyun could yield a slight clarity of vision, he also intended to have Lu Miaoyun practice the Sun-Moon Samsara technique. However, he found that the heavenly longevity technique was exclusive. That is, once one practices this technique, it is difficult to cultivate others, even auxiliary techniques. But relying on his implementation of the tender embrace technique, he could feel that dual cultivation with Lu Miaoyun brought them increased benefits. Yet this increase was still minuscule, and it would probably only show significant effects after many years. Regarding this, Lu Chongqing did not pay too much attention. After all, the benefits of dual cultivation were already an unexpected pleasure for him. He didn't expect to gain any advantages or abilities from it. Several days later, news that matriarch Lu Miaoyun of the Lu family at Bihu Mountain had broken through to Foundation establishment gradually spread. Regarding this news, there wasn't much of a stir. After all, compared to last year's events where Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoga suppressed the great cultivator of Golden Dragon Ridge, and the ancestor of Jin family personally went to Bihu Mountain to apologize and brought a core formation spiritual object, even stating that Lu Chongqing was capable of reaching core formation and so on. The breakthrough to Foundation establishment was really nothing for Bihu Mountain. It did, however, make many family forces take notice of matriarch Lu Miaoyun. Nevertheless, this news was a huge shock to Qingzhou Mountain, like a huge stone thrown into a calm lake. The new generation of Qingzhou Mountain disciples might not understand. But Lu Yuanding, Lu Miaochang, Lu Miaofeng, Lu Muping, and other cultivators bearing the Lu and Miao root words certainly knew of Lu Miao's circumstances. 7th grade spiritual root. In terms of cultivation, she could only be considered mediocre and didn't stand out. But now, Lu Miaoyun had actually managed to break through to Foundation establishment. Miaoyun breaking through to Foundation establishment. Upon hearing this news, Lu Yuanding, Lu Miaochang, Lu Miaofeng, Lu Muping, and others were simply at a loss for words. It was as if they were dreaming. After a long while, when their emotions settled, they became even more amazed by Lu Changsheng's methods and foundations. When Lu Chongqing helped Lu Miaoga break through, she was at least a predestined Foundation establishment candidate. However, Lu Miaoyun was considered someone with no hope of Foundation establishment at all. Yet now, she had achieved it and become a high and mighty Foundation establishment ancestor. Yuner has broken through to Foundation establishment. Xiao Yu, is this true? Don't deceive your great-grandmother. Okay? The 4th elder looked at her great-granddaughter with disbelief. She knew very well her granddaughter's circumstances. Although previously, Lu Miaoyun said that because of a cultivation technique, she couldn't leave Bihu Mountain. But this sudden breakthrough to Foundation establishment still felt too unreal to her, simply impossible. Great-grandmother, of course it's true. Why would I deceive you? Lu Yu said with a bitter smile. However, when she first heard the news and saw her mother, she was immensely surprised as well. Mother can't come in person to fetch you, so she asked me to take you to Bihu Mountain for a stay. Then you'll know. Lu Yu held her great-grandmother's arm and cheerfully said, all right, great-grandmother will go with you. The 4th elder nodded repeatedly and also felt that it wouldn't be a joke to deceive her. She got up, preparing to go to Bihu Mountain. Despite often visiting Bihu Mountain in the past, she only went back occasionally due to her old age. Subsequently, Lu Yuanding, along with the current family head of Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Munian, Lu Yu, and the 4th elder set off towards Bihu Mountain. After all, there was still much time before the ceremony day. They were going ahead to visit and to congratulate 100 Birds Lake. The Bai family also received news of Lu Miao's breakthrough to Foundation establishment at Bihu Mountain immediately. Let's go. Join me in congratulating them at Bihu Mountain. Upon receiving the news, Bai family ancestor Bai Yunyang immediately took 2 family seeds and headed to Bihu Mountain to offer congratulations. These years, with the cooperation between Red Leaf Valley Market and Bihu Mountain 100 Birds Lake had seen steady growth. Not only did the family have several Foundation establishment candidates, but they also had enough resources to plan for Foundation establishment elixirs and nurture new Foundation establishment cultivators. But Foundation establishment elixirs were incredibly hard to come by. Now hearing this news, they immediately speculated that Lu Chongqing might have a Foundation establishment elixir. Thus, they hoped through the relationship between the 2 families, they might be able to purchase a Foundation establishment elixir. After all, among the previous 4 big families, The Yu family had been replaced by Lu Changsheng. Centipede Ridge had changed its surname to Su. Qingzhou Mountain also had 2 foundation establishment cultivators in charge. Counting Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaoyun, there were 4 foundation establishment great cultivators. And yet his Bai family still relied on just him alone. Family patriarchs like him, with only 1 foundation establishment cultivator in the family, were often stuck in familial affairs, practically imprisoned. Sar the novel F. Iyer. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Unable to go out in search of opportunities with limited cultivation resources, it was extremely hard to make any advancement in cultivation level and almost impossible to break through the mid-stage of foundation establishment in this lifetime. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 930. Luminous Eye, testing swords in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm _4 and moreover, the family was unable to expand outward. Once the foundation establishment ancestor met with an accident, the family would plummet immensely. By Lake Mountain. Grandmother, father-in-law. Upon knowing that the 4th elder and Lu Yuanding had arrived, Lu Chongqing immediately brought his son, Lu Yun, and his wife, Lu Miaoyun, together with Lu Miaohuan to greet them. He also asked Mount Sumeru to notify Lu Miaoge. In these days, Lu Miaoge had been in closed-door cultivation in the cave mansion, preparing for the breakthrough to the foundation establishment 4th layer, so she seldom appeared. Great-grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, uncle. Lu Miaoyun was very happy to see her grandmother quietly. After all, because of the heavenly longevity technique, she couldn't actively go to Qingzhou Mountain. And the old people were getting on in age and were not too willing to travel back and forth. HM? You are Yuner? The 4th elder looked at Lu Miaoyun in front of her, slightly stunned. Had it not been for the other party addressing her, she would have hardly dared to recognize her. She even suspected whether Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoyun had another daughter. Grandmother, it's me, Yuner. Lu Miaoyun, finding it both amusing and sad, couldn't believe her grandmother hardly recognized her upon seeing her. But considering her changed appearance, it was normal for the 4th elder to hesitate to recognize her at first. Very good. Just like when you were little. The 4th elder scrutinized her granddaughter's appearance, gently stroked her face with a hand and nodded with a smile, so pleased she was grinning from ear to ear. It was quite a while later when she, in an aged voice, said, Yuner, I heard from Xiaoyu that you had reached foundation establishment. Is that true? Even now, she still found it hard to believe the news about her granddaughter's breakthrough to foundation establishment. Grandmother, it's indeed true, Lu Miaoyun said with a face full of smiles, revealing the aura of her foundation establishment spiritual pressure. Although the foundation establishment attained through the heavenly longevity technique was somewhat frail, but this cultivation base aura was nonetheless genuine. Very good, very good. I never thought I'd live to see my Yuner become a foundation establishment great cultivator. Her face was filled with satisfaction, her eyes slightly teary. For her granddaughter's breakthrough to becoming a foundation establishment great cultivator was an enormous pride. She kept chatting with Lu Miaoyun for a while, then turned to Lu Chongsheng, held his hand, and spoke. Chongsheng, thank you for your efforts. The 4th elder knew that her granddaughter's breakthrough was definitely aided by Lu Chongsheng. Otherwise, considering her granddaughter's situation, how could she have broken through to foundation establishment? Grandmother, there's no trouble at all. I'm even raising a big koi dragon, waiting for you to visit. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. But looking at the 4th elder's aged appearance and the signs of twilight, a melancholic sadness surged in his heart. Although the elder had taken 1st grade and 2nd grade lifespan extension pills, her life was drawing to a close. After all, energy refining cultivators theoretically could live up to 120 years, but few indeed lived to such an age. The 4th elder had been a talisman master in her early years, spending long years crafting talismans, which consumed a great deal of her mental spirit. Now aged over 110, she probably had about 10 years left. Very good, very good. Chongqing, you are very thoughtful. The 4th elder showed a gratified smile on her face, then looked at her great-grandsons and said, Yuner, Xiaoyu, you also need to work hard, aiming to reach foundation establishment in the future. Yes, great-grandmother. The siblings exchanged glances and then nodded in agreement. Father-in-law, Sister Miaoga is currently in closed-door cultivation for her breakthrough, and I have already sent her a message. At this time, Lu Chongxing explained to Lu Yuanding. This father-in-law was also now more than 80 years old. His hair was silver, and his face showed the marks of age, lacking the scholarly youthfulness of his earlier years. It's all right. Cultivation is more important. Lu Yuanding waved his hand and declared. S.E.A. the novel F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Looking at Lu Yun and Lu Rain, he couldn't help but think of his own grandchildren, Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu, showing a hint of longing and envy in his eyes. Although they were all one family, he naturally felt closer to his daughter's children, especially since he had raised Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu practically single-handedly. Grandmother, father-in-law, you must be tired from the journey. Let's go inside first. Seeing this, Lu Chongxing led the two towards the Lu family mansion, then said to his son Lu Yun, Yuner, when you have time, make sure to interact more with Munyan. He naturally knew why Qingzhu brought Lu Munyan along. It was in the hope that the two families would interact more often, growing closer. Yes, father. Uncle, take care. The two nodded in response. You country, Jinyang sect. Are you going to the Purple Shadow secret realm? Tianyuan True Immortal looked at Lu Qingshan with some surprise. Although the Purple Shadow secret realm was in Jiang country, because the two countries were neighbors, even cultivators from Yu country would make their way there. For years later, I need to head to the Qingming secret realm. Currently, the Purple Shadow secret realm is about to open. I intend to use this opportunity to go there to test my sword skills and temper myself. And I promised little Zhu that after my breakthrough to foundation establishment, I would take her home for a visit. But with the matter of the Qingming secret realm, after my breakthrough, I definitely won't have time to take little Zhu home. So I thought that this trip to the Purple Shadow secret realm could also include taking little Zhu home for a visit. Lu Qingshan, with his handsome face and bright eyes, and showing a white, toothy smile, stood tall as he spoke. In that case, I will take you and Qingzhu there later. Tianyuan True Immortal pondered for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Though the Purple Shadow secret realm was dangerous, Lu Qingshan's current combat strength was virtually unbeatable below the level of foundation establishment. He was essentially safe from any severe danger. And since Jiang country was dominated by the Heavenly Sword sect, a top-tier sect of sword cultivators, this trip to the Purple Shadow secret realm would enable Lu Qingshan to spar and exchange blows with the disciples of Heavenly Sword sect, thereby achieving a certain level of tempering. By then, after completing his journey through the Purple Shadow secret realm and breakthrough in cultivation to foundation establishment, Lu Qingshan would be better prepared for the Qingming secret realm. Thank you, master. Lu Qingshan immediately bowed with a smile. He then said farewell to his master and went to share this news with his sister. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 931. Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu return home. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. Today was the foundation establishment ceremony of matriarch Lu Miaoyun of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. Although they decided to keep everything simple without too much pomp, still it was his mother's foundation establishment ceremony. So Lu Yun had spared no effort in making it a lively event. Yun Villa's Grand Hall. Lu Chongxing, Lu Miaoyun, and the fourth elder sat in the primary seats. Congratulations to Mother, to the lady for breaking through to foundation establishment. Fortune as vast as the eastern sea, longevity like that of southern mountain. Congratulations, lady, the patriarch's lady. Wishing the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family climbs to new heights. One after another, Lu family disciples and guests presented gifts to Lu Miaoyun, expressing their congratulations in a joyful and festive manner. Many other family forces and guests, through this foundation establishment ceremony, became aware of Lu Miaoyun's situation. They learned that in her earlier years, she was merely an ordinary legitimate daughter of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, with mediocre spiritual root talent. Now, seeing her break through to foundation establishment, they immediately realized she had been supported by Lu Chongqing. This had caused the reputation of Lu ancestor, known for his deep loyalty and affection, yet indulgent in old affections, to evoke the admiration of many. After all, such an opportunity for foundation establishment was rarely bestowed upon someone with previously ordinary talents instead of the genius children of the family, the foundation establishment seeds. This incident led many family forces to speculate that Lu Chongqing must possess multiple foundation establishment pills, which was why he was so generous. Many came offering gifts with indirect inquiries, indicating that if Lu Chongqing had more foundation establishment pills, they would be willing to purchase them at a high price. After all, although there was hope to buy foundation establishment pills in the 3 great immortal cities, it was not so easy. They would have to wait until the pills entered the market. But with long distances to travel, most families dared not carry huge sums of money to the immortal cities to bid on foundation establishment pills. So if Lu Chongqing had foundation establishment pills, even at a premium price, they were interested. Faced with this situation, Lu Chongqing couldn't help but feel both amused and bemused. It had never occurred to him that people would think Lu Miaoyun could only break through with a foundation establishment pill. However, this was normal. He then tacitly confirmed the matter, claiming that years ago, he had gone to Azure Phoenix Immortal City and acquired that single foundation establishment pill, without any others. After the ceremony was over, Lu Family Mansion, Sir the Nelfer, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Venture into the Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Lu Chongqing frowned upon hearing his son Lu Quanzhen's words. This year, Lu Chuanzhen had mostly been stationed at White Tiger Mountain. He hadn't expected that upon returning home for the ceremony, Chuanzhen would express his desire to enter the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He was well aware of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, a secret realm held by several immortal sects of Jiang country, filled with chances and heavenly and earthly treasures. It would open once every 30 years. Years ago, when the lifespan of the previous generation's ancestor of Qingzhou Mountain was running out, Lu Yuanzhong managed to break through to foundation establishment thanks largely to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Even the foundation establishment elixir he had obtained from Meng Xiaochan had come from within that secret realm. Lu Chongqing had long since been aware of the opening of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, but he had no intentions himself. After all, such secret realms were filled with danger. That year, when Lu Yuanshan of Qingzhou Mountain had taken 2 elite members of the Lu family there, Yuanshan came back with a severed hand, and one of the Lu family disciples was buried within the realm. The father of Xia Jiue had also gone to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Although he had survived and emerged, he was ambushed halfway through his journey and ultimately perished. Chuanzhen, you only need to concentrate on cultivating peacefully. In 2 more years, you can attempt foundation establishment. At that time, after you have broken through, if you wish to gain experience from traveling abroad, I will not stop you. Even if you fail to break through to foundation establishment, I still possess foundation establishment elixir and foundation establishment spirit objects. There's no need for you to risk entering the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Lu Chongqing spoke seriously, not willing to let his son take risks in the secret realm. Father, Lu Chuanzhen had anticipated his father's refusal. Compared with most cultivators, his own father was excessively cautious. He suddenly looked up at Lu Chongqing, his expression earnest, and said, Father, Chuanzhen knows you wish only the best for me. But these are experiences that, if I don't go through now, I will have to face in the future. This world is vast. I want to step out of Bihu Mountain, out of Jiang country cultivation realm, to see the whole southern wilderness cultivation realm. I also made a promise with my uncle that within 100 years, I would break through core formation and condense a superior gold core. Even if I have the opportunity by my side to break through foundation establishment with ease, continuing like this, I will definitely not be able to achieve core formation within 100 years. My only choice is to strive. The immortal path is all about struggle, daring to struggle and being able to compete. My journey to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm is not only for the chance but also about the willingness to compete. This is the first step that truly puts me on the immortal path, to witness the harrowing and bloody realities of the immortal world. If I cannot compete and emerge victorious within such a chi refinement secret realm, how can I aspire to the great Tao in the future and achieve core formation by the age of 100? Lu Chuanjun looked calm and serious as he spoke. Although his father rarely displayed a casual indifference outwardly, simply desiring an ordinary and stable life, he knew that his father was not as simple as he seemed. Otherwise, he couldn't have reached this point, achieving such success. Therefore, with these words, he believed that his father would surely understand the reasoning within. Sigh. Lu Chongqing felt a headache coming on as he listened to his son's flurry of words. Indeed, as Lu Chuanjun said, to achieve something significant in cultivation, one must struggle. It was nearly impossible to cultivate successfully and steadily without contention. Even with a heavenly spiritual root, avoiding initial bottlenecks, there was still a need for wealth companion Dharma land. Unless one had a system like he did. Cultivation is like crossing a river, a race with thousands of horses competing for the sails. As long as there's desire for the immortal path, this competition in life cannot cease. Not to mention anything else, his good friend Li Feiyu was one example. Chuanjun, the immortal path is fraught with difficulties, and every time the Purple Shadow Secret Realm is opened, countless enter, but less than half make it out alive. Although his son had such determination and was willing to work hard to that extent, it was a good thing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 932. Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu return home. But as a father, Lu Chongqing could not remain indifferent. Or rather, he was still ultimately different from many people in this world. Father, I understand, to act according to one's capability, right? Only energy-refining cultivators can enter the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. I am now at the 9th level energy refinement, and I also have the 2nd rank puppet and talisman you gave me. If I am still not as good as others, it will allow me to recognize reality sooner and save the possibility of being destroyed outside later. Lu Chuanjun showed a slight smile on his face as he said this. Sigh. Lu Chongqing let out a sigh. Now that his son had spoken to this extent, he didn't have much to advise. After all, his son had great ambitions and was wholeheartedly devoted to the path. How could he, as a father, stand in his way? He patted Lu Chuanjun on the shoulder and said, When the secret realm is about to open, your father will take you there. The dangers of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm lay not only within but also outside. Many individuals might make gains inside, but due to injuries they encounter ambushes on the way back to the outside world. Sending him there and back personally could at least ensure his son's safety en route. Thank you, father. Lu Chuanjun bowed with clasped hands. By the way, what's this about an agreement with your uncle? Lu Changsheng's eyebrows raised slightly as he asked. He was still unaware his son had made such an agreement with Chu Chang'e. To reach core formation within 100 years and also condense a superior gold core was no small feat even among the true disciples of the immortal sects. Only a few could accomplish this. Lu Chuanjun, though having improved to a 4th grade spiritual root through Chu Change's opportunity, had some hope for core formation. But to condense a superior gold core within 100 years was incredibly difficult. At the time, I felt like my uncle's actions were as if he was entrusting or arranging things for after his departure, so I asked him out of concern. My uncle said that only if I could condense a superior gold core within 100 years would I qualify to know. CTH novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. So that's what I've set as my goal, to strive for core formation within 100 years. Lu Chuanjun said. If someone else heard this talk, they would probably think it was a joke or that something was wrong with his mind. A mere little energy-refining cultivator talking about core formation, and even a superior gold core at that. However, Lu Chongqing naturally would not question it. Upon hearing this, he couldn't help but be somewhat curious about this unknown uncle through marriage. What level was he at that only condensing a superior gold core within 100 years qualified someone to know to get in touch? It seems that my cheap uncle is even more significant than I imagined. Or perhaps, this agreement is just giving Chuanjin a random goal? Lu Chongqing thought secretly to himself, not minding it too much, and continued, "By the way, don't let your mother know about this matter. Otherwise, don't blame me if you can't go." If Chu Jinjin found out her son was going to such a dangerous secret realm and that he, as a father, had even agreed to it, she would likely wail and lament for 3 years. "Your son understands." Lu Chuanjin immediately nodded. This was something he only dared to discuss with Lu Chongqing, certainly not with his own mother. Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake will also have people going. If you wish, you can join them. It would also provide some care. Lu Chongqing spoke out. Though he himself had no intentions regarding the Purple Shadow secret realm, this secret realm's opening was seen as an opportunity by most loose cultivators and family forces. Many with dreams and ambitions who dared to fight would head there to take their chance. Thus, both Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake would have family descendants going. "I prefer to be on my own with this kind of thing." "Well, see." Lu Chuanjin said so. In his opinion, going with the two families, Bai and Lu, would not be of any help to him. It might even hinder him. "All right, do you need to prepare anything? They'll have the family ready for you." Lu Chongqing continued to show his concern. After all, it was his son's first time going on such a venture. As an older father, he was quite concerned. "No need for that. I've already asked Lu Xianji for a few low-grade puppets, and I have everything prepared," Lu Chuanjin said. "Low-grade puppets have limited combat power. Their only use is to act as cannon fodder in old ruins and secret realms." Lu Chongqing nodded and then inquired about his son's cultivation progress. Although he hadn't studied the other's cultivation technique, there is a notion of gaining insights through analogy. Lu Chongqing, as the Mountain Lord, possessed innate talent and was proficient in countless top-level techniques. Wouldn't guiding a small energy refining cultivator be a breeze? After chatting with Lu Chuanjin, Lu Chongqing thought about the imminent opening of the Purple Shadow secret realm and how his family could take advantage to make a profit. Talisman elixirs were difficult to mass-produce, but they could stockpile a bit and raise the price of some inventory when the time came. As for the puppet factory, they could work overtime these days to increase production. "Lu Xianji, take these 2 golden armor spirit beans. There is half a year left before the Purple Shadow secret realm opens. The demand for puppets will rise considerably then. So, in the meantime, you can tell the workshop to increase production of certain types of puppets." Lu Chongqing instructed his son Lu Xianji, handing over 2 golden armor spirit beans. He usually used these spirit beans for crafting second-rank puppets. However, his second-rank puppets were unassembled, with parts crafted but left untouched due to his laziness, and thus progress was slow. "Father, rest assured, I have already instructed the workshop to increase production," Lu Xianji said immediately. As the person in charge of the puppet workshop, he was far more concerned about the market than Lu Chongqing. Situations like the Purple Shadow secret realm, or the emergence of ruins and secret realms nearby and family conflicts, all led to immediate production increases. Especially since last year, Bai Lake Mountain had taken over White Tiger Mountain, reducing the cost of raw materials for spirit ore considerably. "Father, yesterday Chuanjin got some from me. He's not planning to go to the Purple Shadow secret realm, is he? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 933. Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu return home. At that time, Lu Xianji spoke to Lu Chongqing in this way. Although the Lu family disciples usually have a few puppets, they do not have many. This time, Lu Chuanjin took out 6 puppets at once, all intended for exploring relic secret realms. Combining this with his brother's performance at White Tiger Mountain, he immediately had this speculation in his mind. "Yes, I am aware of Quanzhen's intentions. He plans to take a challenge," he said. Since his son had guessed it, Lu Chongqing did not conceal it. He briefly explained Lu Quanzhen's situation, asking him not to tell others. Then, he asked with some concern about Lu Xianzi's own affairs. This son, managing the puppet factory for years, had been diligent and earnest, already making puppets one of the main industries of Bai Lake Mountain, although the business had not yet expanded beyond local borders. But the puppets of the Bai Lake Mountain brand, being both affordable and high quality, had already dominated the puppetry market in the surrounding area. In the future, once the family manpower increased and the production and logistics improved, they could expand the business further. After chatting for a while, Lu Chongqing thought about his son's 9th grade spiritual route and sighed. He then visited his own wine brewing workshop, talisman workshop, and treasure elixir pavilion. The treasure elixir pavilion was the family's alchemy workshop. Since it was managed by Li Xingrua, who had traveled thousands of miles to Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Chongsheng decided to use the name Treasure Elixir Pavilion. Currently, the Treasure Elixir Pavilion was in its initial stage, focusing on training alchemists. After all, to train alchemists and mass-produce elixir medicines was no easy task. Therefore, Lu Chongqing did not plan to rely on alchemy for profit in the short term. The main goal was to train alchemists to supply elixir medicines for his own family. He would consider profit once the scale enlarged. However, there was one thing worth mentioning. When Lu Chongqing proposed naming the alchemy workshop Treasure Elixir Pavilion, it made Li Xingrua sentimental and sadly reflective. Perhaps it was also because he had drunk a little wine. He then made some bold statements and actions. Lu Chongqing, always soft-hearted, could not bear to see such a sight. In the end, he played the role of a husband and father, providing her with comfort. After that conversation, their relationship naturally progressed further. SAR the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A month later, a divine rainbow burst through the 9 heaven gang winds, forming a giant gourd that slowly descended. On the giant gourd lay a stunningly beautiful woman, drunk and languid, appearing as if she had not yet woken up. Beside her, 2 gourd vines were woven into 2 baskets. Inside them sat a youth in his 20s with sword-like eyebrows and handsome features, and a girl of about 18 or 19, with a pretty face and bright eyes. Qingshan, Qingzhu. This must be Qingzhu Mountain you talked about, right? The mature beauty looked at the Qingzhu Mountain in the landscape, filled with verdant bamboo, and asked her 2 disciples. This woman was none other than Tianyuan True Immortal. She had come personally to Jiang country this time, sending her disciple Lu Qingshan to participate in the Purple Shadow secret realm and taking the opportunity to visit her home. Ah, Master Xiaozhu and I are only in the qi refinement phase. It's so high we can't see clearly at all. Lu Qingshan looked down, seeing only a vast whiteness, barely making out the continuous mountain ranges. That's true, I had forgotten, said Tianyuan with a misty gaze, lightly tapping her forehead. Then with a flick of her finger, an image of Qingzhu Mountain instantly appeared before them. Master, this is my home, Qingzhu Mountain, Lu Qingshan quickly said, his expression and that of his sister Lu Qingzhu both excited, although their parents had visited them at the Jinyang sect 4 years ago. But the 2 siblings had only been 10 years old when they first went to the Jinyang sect with Tianyuan True Immortal. Now, having been away from home for 15 years. Apart from their parents, there were other family elders, younger brothers, and childhood friends at home. Thus, they still missed their home deeply and were attached to it. All right. Once confirmed by Tianyuan True Immortal, the gourd instantly transformed into a divine rainbow, shooting towards Qingzhu Mountain. This spiritual pressure, such aura, a nascent soul immortal? Inside Qingzhu Mountain, Lu family patriarch Lu Muping suddenly sensed a magical fluctuation, which frightened him into trembling and breaking a cold sweat, immediately activating the family's great formation. Go ahead. I will come back to pick you up after some days, said the gourd, hovering above Qingzhu Mountain, as Tianyuan True Immortal spoke to her 2 disciples. Master, won't you come in for a cup of tea and rest for a while? Lu Qingzhu said softly. I have other duties, replied the master. Tianyuan True Immortal casually remarked. Although she had brought the 2 of them here, she had no interest in their families and didn't want to be entangled in their affairs. Besides, if she were to enter, the entire family would have to be restricted, which would make her uncomfortable. Thank you for your hard work, master. Lu Qingshan knew his master's personality well. She didn't like to be bothered. He immediately bowed, slapped his storage bag, and a flying sword appeared. Then he flew off towards Qingzhou Mountain with his sister, Lu Qingzhou. Hee. I wonder what it will be like when Dad, Mom, Grandpa, and Qing Song see us coming back. Lu Qingshan grinned, eagerly anticipating the reunion, especially the expressions on Grandpa and his brother's faces upon seeing him. But the next moment, he remembered that he was considered a little sword immortal now, and naturally needed to maintain a certain image at first sight. Immediately, he coughed lightly, stood up straight, and gathered the casual smile on his face into a stern expression. Who goes there? What business do you have on Qingzhou Mountain? As Lu Muping arrived outside of Qingzhou Mountain and saw Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhou, he spoke respectfully. It had to be said, Lu Qingshan's demeanor was exceptionally striking. With his sword-like eyebrows, bright eyes, red lips, white teeth, his face stern and with sharp features, dressed in an opulent white-gold magical robe, standing on a flying sword. His whole body emitted a sharp and vigorous aura. Lu Qingzhou, standing beside him, although not as extraordinary as Lu Qingshan, still clearly looked like a member of a prominent family, especially the slight nascent soul magical power aura that had just leaked, which made him sweat profusely, unsure of the purpose of such characters visiting his home. Lu Qingshan. Lu Qingshan said this. Lu Qingzhou, looking at the familiar face of Lu Muping in front of her, carefully asked, Are you Brother Muping? You are. Qingshan and Qingzhou? On hearing these words, Lu Muping was startled and immediately recognized who the two were. He had thought they looked familiar, but he had completely dared not think in that direction. Now, hearing Lu Qingshan's and Lu Qingzhou's words, he suddenly remembered an old family secret. Lu Chongsheng and Lu Maiage's children, who were taken as disciples by a nascent soul immortal. Who would have thought that these siblings would return today and in such an extraordinary fashion? Qingshan, Qingzhou, you've returned. Inside Qingzhou Mountain, an elder in a blue Confucian robe, his hair gray, saw Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhou outside and immediately his eyes reddened, his voice trembling as he shouted. Lu Yuanding hadn't expected that just recently he was still reminiscing about the two children, and now the siblings had returned. He hurried out of the mountain gate, excitedly trembling as he looked at them, yet somewhat hesitant to approach. The siblings had changed so much. His memory of them still lingered on their younger days. Grandpa! Grandpa! The two of them called out excitedly upon seeing Lu Yuanding, who had obviously aged quite a bit. Back in the day, Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoge were busy, and Lu Yuanding had just retired, devoting all his attention to caring for the three siblings, feeling very close to them. Very good, very good. Lu Yuanding hugged the siblings, crying tears of joy, his red eyes filled with a relieved and joyous smile. Originally, when the siblings were taken as disciples by the nascent soul immortal and went to Jinyang's sect, even though he was happy as a grandparent, he secretly worried for a long time. Now, seeing how they were, knowing they'd turned out far better than he had imagined, he was naturally overjoyed. Grandpa, you've gotten a lot older. Lu Qingzhou, seeing her grandfather's wrinkled face, said with some heartache, reaching out to wipe his tears. The Lu Yuanding of those days, although not young, still took care of his appearance. Over these 15 years, as he aged, he paid less attention to his looks, appearing much more elderly. Ha ha ha, at Grandpa's age, it's natural to grow old. And my Qingshan and little Zhu have also grown up, haven't they? Lu Yuanding said, laughing heartily. Grandpa, I brought you a lifespan extension pill on this trip back, Lu Qingshan stated. He had come bearing gifts for the family. Hee, Qingshan, that's very thoughtful of you. But Grandpa has already taken a lifespan extension pill. Let's go home first. I'll send a message to Bai Lake Mountain now. Your parents will be so happy to know you've returned. Lu Yuanding spoke thus. He originally wanted to ask about the condition of the nascent soul immortal. But when he looked up, he found that Tianyuan True Immortal had already departed without him noticing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 934. Lu Miage's Breakthrough, Lu Qingshan's Strength, Qingzhou Mountain. Ha! By Lake Mountain has become ours? Lu Qingshan paused in astonishment when he heard his grandfather's words. Lu Chongsheng, Lu Miaoge, and Lu Miaohuan had indeed visited them at the Jinyang sect. But they only mentioned that everything was fine at home and did not disclose much. So he and Lu Qingzhou were still unaware of the situation with By Lake Mountain. They only knew that their parents had grown powerful, both having broken through to foundation establishment. Didn't Chongsheng and Miaoge, along with Huaner, go to Jinyang sect to visit you? Didn't they mention it to you? Lu Yuanding couldn't help but laugh and shake his head at this. He had just been wondering why the siblings had returned directly to Qingzhou Mountain, instead of going to By Lake Mountain first to join their daughter and son-in-law. No, when Mom, Dad, and Auntie visited us, they just said that the family was doing very well. Then they took little Zhu and me out to play, probably because they were worried we would get homesick and did not talk much about the family situation. Lu Qingshan explained. However, this piqued his interest, and with an excited face he inquired, "Grandpa, I remember the Yu family from By Lake Mountain was quite impressive, with several foundation establishment cultivators. How has By Lake Mountain become ours?" "Hee, naturally, this is all thanks to your dad," Lu Yuanding replied with a chuckle. Even after more than 10 years, recalling the scene where Lu Chongxing obliterated 3 members of the Yu family was still unbelievable. "You must be hungry from the travel. Let's go home first. Your grandpa has prepared some delicious food for you, and then I will tell you." Lu Yuanding's face was filled with joy as he patted their shoulders. At that moment, he seemed much more youthful and invigorated. Amidst the conversation, the 3 of them entered Qingzhou Mountain. Sister Xiu'er, Brother Changming. In the crowd, Lu Qingshan spotted a few familiar cousins and called out cheerfully and naturally. His previous cold demeanor had long since vanished. After all, it was one thing to keep up appearances in front of strangers. But in front of his own family, maintaining a lofty image was impossible. "Qingshan, Qingzhou." The 2 nodded in response, their eyes showing a mix of restraint and awe. In 15 years' time, the change in the siblings was tremendous, especially in Lu Qingshan. Even with his cheerful and easygoing demeanor, without putting on airs, the radiant vitality and vigorous spirit he exuded made them feel inferior, as if they belonged to 2 different worlds. Seeing this scene, Lu Muping, the family patriarch of the Lu family, approached Lu Yuanding with a mix of emotion and envy. He had not anticipated that his unassuming uncle not only had extraordinary opportunities, but also fathered an exceptional talent like Lu Qingshan. With such a Qilin child, the future of By Lake Mountain was assured to advance further. However, seeing the natural closeness between Lu Qingshan and Lu Yuanding and thinking of the relationship between the 2 families, he felt somewhat relieved. After all, although the child was the son of Lu Chongxing, he also bore the bloodline of Qingzhou Mountain, with Lu Yuanding, Lu Miaoge, and Lu Miaohuan connecting them. Even if the 2 families grew distant over the generations, as long as Lu Miaoge and Lu Qingshan were there, the relationship between the 2 families would not falter. By Lake Mountain, Chongxing Hall. Congratulations to Sister Miaoge on breaking through to the mid-stage of foundation establishment. One step closer to core formation. Lu Chongsheng, holding his daughter Lu Lingyi, congratulated his wife with a beaming smile. The year he and Lu Miaoge had broken through together, he had reached the 6th layer of foundation establishment while Lu Miaoge had reached the 3rd. However, due to the dragon roar physique, he had swiftly advanced to the 7th layer. Lu Miaoge was now just breaking through the early and middle stages bottleneck. Such rapid progress was due to the Tai Dao seed and the Sun-Moon Samsara technique. Otherwise, without consuming a breakthrough elixir with Lu Miage's spiritual root talent, breaking through to the 4th layer would have taken significantly more time. "Come on, Xiaohe. Let's congratulate Auntie." Lu Chongsheng then spoke to his daughter Lu Lingyi in his arms. It's all thanks to my husband's efforts. Lu Miaoge, clad in a simple white dress with her black hair cascading like a waterfall and a demure, radiant smile on her snow-like face, had an aura as gentle as water. Now that Sister Miaoge has broken through, we must celebrate at home. Lu Chongxing said warmly, holding his wife's hand. He felt that home was filled with continuous joy, deserving of celebration every other day. CTH novel F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Just then, a message arrived from the Yinyang sensing talisman in his storage ring. News from Qingzhou Mountain. Qingshan and Qingzhou are back? Lu Chongxing was slightly taken aback upon seeing the message. He hadn't expected his children, who were far away in Yu country, to suddenly return home. Qingshan and Qingzhou are back? Upon hearing this, Lu Miaoge was momentarily stunned, her beautiful face lighting up with joy. Great, great, great. Today is really a day of double happiness. Lu Chongsheng immediately laughed heartily, stepping out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven with Lu Miaoge. They then handed their daughter Lu Lingyi to Lu Wangshu and joined Lu Miaohuan, who had already received the news and was eagerly waiting alongside their son Lu Qingsong, as they all made their way to Qingzhou Mountain. Fortunately, Lu Miaohuan's heavenly longevity technique had not yet been perfected. Otherwise, she would not have been able to leave by Lake Mountain now. When Lu Chongsheng and his family arrived at Qingzhou Mountain, the place was already lively, preparing for a family banquet. On one hand, it was to welcome and cleanse away the travel dust for the siblings Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhou. On the other hand, it was to greet the arrival of Lu Chongsheng and Lu Miaoge, along with Lu Miaohuan. Dad, Mom, Auntie, Qingsong. Seeing his parents, aunt, and brother approach, Lu Qingshan immediately stood up and called out loud and clear with a genuine affability. Daddy, Mommy, Auntie, little brother. Lu Qingzhou, on the other hand, appeared much quieter, beaming as she approached her parents, exuding affection and longing. Chongsheng, Miaoge, Huaner, Qingsong, you've arrived. Lu Yuanding, fourth elder, Lu Muping, and the others had all gathered in the hall, waiting for their arrival. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 935. Lu Miaoge's breakthrough, Lu Qingshan's strength. Lu Yuanzhong, who had always been stationed at the Red Leaf Valley Market, also came back. After greetings were exchanged, Lu Chongxing tousled his daughter's hair and sized up his son before laughing and saying, "It seems you've made quite some progress." Although they had not seen each other for just over 4 years, it was clearly evident that his son had undergone significant changes. The contours of his eyes and brows had developed a sharper, more heroic edge, and his whole body exuded a vigorous and prominent energy. Lu Chongxing knew that this was the effect of the sword-charging bull's might seed of law. All thanks to the excellent teaching of father. Lu Qingshan smiled broadly, displaying a face of humility. Though he was proud and ambitious, he knew that his rapid progress in Sword Dao, as natural as eating and drinking, was wholly due to the Sword Dao seed his father had given. Otherwise, even with his Gengjin body constitution and some talent in Sword Dao, it would not have been to this extent. Moreover, hearing from his grandfather today about his father's exploits over these years and combining it with the Sword Dao seed made him deeply realize his father was no ordinary man. The whole person seemed to be veiled by a layer of mist, filled with a mysterious air. Qingshan really does look a bit like a sword immortal now. Lu Miaoge looked at her son and complimented him warmly. Aunt, I won't hide it from you. I'm currently nicknamed Little Sword Immortal back at the sect, and little Zhu can attest to that. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingshan immediately spoke with a face full of pride. As the saying goes, being rich and not returning home is like walking at night in brocade clothing. This trip home, if he didn't properly boast about his achievements, it would be more painful for him than death. All right, let's eat. You're getting too cocky. Lu Chongxing slapped his son on the head somewhat irritably. The sun was too dazzling. Continuing to show off like this was likely to create a big psychological gap for his other son, Lu Qingsong. The two were brothers, and after not seeing each other for 15 years, their growth was worlds apart. Qingshan, I heard from your mother about the Jinyang sect's sword competition which happens every 5 years. How did this competition go? After everyone was seated, Lu Miaohuan asked her son cheerfully. Although her son liked to show off, she, as a mother, did the same. Now that her son made her proud, she naturally wanted others like Lu Yuanding and Lu Yuanzhong to know about her son's achievements and the matters concerning Jinyang sect. After all, she Lu Miaohuan might not be like her sister, but her son was formidable. Lu Qingshan, hearing this, immediately perked up. In his heart, he thought his mother really understood him perfectly. He coughed lightly, straightened his posture, and with a nonchalant demeanor called out to his sister Lu Qingzhu. Little Zhu. Lu Qingzhu clearly understood what her brother meant. However, she still obediently played along and crisply said, Aunt, brother won first place in the sect's sword competition this time. Hiss! 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 Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Yuanding, Lu Muping, Lu Miaochang, and others at the table inhaled sharply upon hearing this, their faces full of surprise as they looked towards Lu Qingshan. Even Lu Qingsong couldn't help but look at his brother, whom he hadn't seen for more than 10 years, in astonishment. Although they were not aware of the specifics of Jinyang sect, they knew it was one of the 5 great immortal sects of Yu country. To obtain first place in such an immortal sect's sword competition undoubtedly confirmed his talent and strength. First place. Lu Miaohuan looked at her son with a face full of surprise and joy. Mother, it's just a contest among Qi refinement disciples. It's not that big of a deal, Lu Qingshan said with a nonchalant demeanor. But Lu Chongqing, seeing his son's corners of mouth continually rise, was quite speechless. He thought to himself, how did his son develop such a temperament? Couldn't he be more composed like himself? It's already very impressive. There must be several thousand Qi refinement disciples in Jinyang sect, right? Lu Yuanzhong chimed in, feeling amazed. He was not only surprised by his young grandson's cultivation level of 9th level energy refinement, but also astonished that he stood out from among thousands in the sect and won the first place. Such an achievement was unthinkable for them in the past. To produce such a prodigy in the family was literally golden light bursting forth from the ancestral tomb. However, he felt some regret that Lu Qingshan was not enrolled under Qingyun sect. If that were the case with this relationship, both families could gain many conveniences. About that, actually only 1,000 disciples participated. Lu Qingshan said, By the way, Qingshan little Zhu, why did you come back so suddenly? Lu Miaohuan continued to show concern. The journey from Jinyang sect was long, and they had experienced it themselves. I heard that the Purple Shadow Secret Realm was about to open in Jiang country, so I thought to come and temper myself and also bring little Zhu home, so I asked the master to send us back. Lu Qingshan explained. Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Qingshan, you are going to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Everyone was quite surprised upon hearing Lu Qingshan's words. They hadn't expected his trip home was actually aiming to head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Although the Purple Shadow Secret Realm contained many heavenly and earthly treasures, Sar the novel Ire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Mostly loose cultivators and family forces went to try their luck. Disciples of the immortal sects generally didn't go as often, mostly used as a trial and exploration. Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Lu Changsheng's brows furrowed slightly, not expecting Lu Qingshan to also go to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He immediately looked towards his daughter Lu Qingzhu and asked, Qingzhu, you're not going, are you? His son going in he could understand, but he couldn't put his mind at ease about his daughter's capabilities. He would not allow it. Father, don't worry. I wouldn't possibly let little Zhu go for such a thing, Lu Qingshan immediately said. Then with a face full of confident ease he reassured, Mother, grandfather, don't worry, with my strength, there won't be any danger in going to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. If there were any danger, my master wouldn't agree, Lu Qingshan said, assuring everyone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 936. Lu Miage's breakthrough, Lu Qingshan's strength. But Lu Miaohuan was still very worried about her son's situation. After all, she remembered clearly the incident from years ago when Lu Yuanshan took 2 family elites with him. However, upon hearing the nascent soul immortal, his mentor, had agreed, everyone didn't say much on the matter. They only mentioned some points of attention within. It was indicated that 3 people from Qingzhou Mountain would also be going, so Lu Qingshan could go together with them. In this way, the family gathered joyously, chatting merrily, the atmosphere warm and harmonious. Since it was late, Lu Chongsheng and the others stayed the night at Qingzhou Mountain. The next day, the family returned to Bai Lake Mountain. Outside Bai Lake Mountain, a spirit boat slowly descended. Is this Bai Lake Mountain, our home? Lu Qingshan looked at Bai Lake Mountain before him, assessing it. Although he had heard of Bai Lake Mountain in his early years, he had never been there before. Next to him, Lu Qingzhu held onto her mother's arm, also sizing up Bai Lake Mountain. Hihi, yes, this is Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Chongxing said with a chuckle. Before long, the spirit boat came to a stop outside the mountain gate. Greetings to the mountain master, lady, father, auntie. The guarding cultivators and Lu family disciples immediately paid their respects. Qingshan, Qingzhu. These are brother Yu Xian and sister Xiao Ru. Lu Chongxing pointed to 2 of the Lu family disciples while making the introductions. Although he had over 200 offspring, currently, there were only 36 who possessed the spiritual root and were of age. So, while Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu might not be familiar with these siblings, they still recognized them. Brother Yu Xian, sister Xiao Ru. Lu Qingshan and sister Qingzhu greeted in turn. Lu Qingshan, being straightforward by nature and not so close to the 2, appeared somewhat courteous. Yet Lu Qingzhu, despite not being close, still greeted them obediently and sweetly as they were her own siblings. Qingshan, Qingzhu, long time no see. The 2 naturally remembered Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu. But after so many years apart, and considering their originally average relationship, their greetings seemed a bit unfamiliar. Lu Chongxing didn't comment on this situation. With so many children in the family, it wasn't possible to expect them to behave as close brothers and sisters all the time. He didn't have that ability. To ensure basic harmony and unity when facing outsiders was enough. This is called Bai Shui Lake. It contains many aquatic resources and is a main pillar of income for our family. This peak is Bai Yun Peak, the main peak of our family. Lu Chongsheng, accompanied by his wives and children, walked around Bai Lake Mountain, explaining the circumstances. Over the years, Bai Lake Mountain, since being taken over from the Yu family, had undergone not just a transformation but vast changes. Looking at these changes and introducing them to his children, Lu Chongxing felt a sense of achievement. After all, these were the fruits of his efforts over the years. Especially the hidden things like the Mount Sumeru Tree King, the Mount Sumeru Illusion Sky Great Formation, the 36 oceanic beads under Lake Heart Island, the Oceanic Formation, and the Abyssal Ghoul Blossom. These made the entire Bai Lake Mountain as solid as a rock. Even if a nascent soul immortal came to attack, they would find no return. After the introductions, Lu Chongxing took his 2 children to Bai Yun Peak, the Lu family mansion, for a quick familiarization with the relatives. SAR the novel F.I.R. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Regardless of their relationship, at least siblings should recognize each other, right? If they had to rely on identity jade tokens to recognize their family outside, it would be absurd. Much later, after Lu Qingshan had met many of his siblings, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly as he whispered to his father, "Dad, don't you need to cultivate?" He knew he had many siblings, but he had never imagined that in all the years he was away, his father hadn't stopped. Was his father practicing a dual cultivation technique? But shouldn't dual cultivation techniques not produce offspring? You little brat. Slandering your old man now, are you? Lu Chongqing didn't directly answer the question, exerting his authority as a father. He then said to Lu Qingshan and Lu Chuanjin, "Come with me, both of you." Both of his sons were set to go to the Purple Shadow secret realm, and as a father, he naturally wanted to give some instructions. At the same time, he also wanted to see just how capable Lu Qingshan was with the seed of law. He could also use this opportunity to give Lu Chuanjin an idea of the strength of an immortal sex disciple. Thinking this and seeing Lu Wangshu, who was probably off to fish again, he immediately called out, "Lu Wangshu, come with me too." This daughter, though talented, did not focus on cultivation and was reluctant to commit wholeheartedly to it. He thought he could use this occasion to let his daughter realize there are always stronger people out there, possibly motivating her to take her cultivation more seriously. "Dad, what is it? I still have to go back and practice talisman making." Lu Wangshu, upon hearing her father's words, had a soft and radiant face. "Humph, like I don't know you. You'll find out in a moment," Lu Chongqing said to his daughter. "Hee." Lu Qingshan beamed with a smile at his sister. After all, most people are moved by looks, and Lu Qingshan was no exception. Lu Wangshu was taken care of and nurtured by Lu Miaoge when she was little. Thus, he and Lu Qingzhu had deep impressions and were especially caring toward Lu Wangshu when she was a baby. Now, seeing Lu Wangshu all grown up and so gentle and beautiful, he naturally felt a special closeness. Of course, he could tell that this sister was clearly not as meek and obedient as she seemed. Lu Chongqing led the three to a back cliff on Baiyun Peak. "Qingshan, come. Let your father see your strength and how you've progressed over the years." Lu Chongqing gestured for his son to come over. "Eh?" Lu Qingshan, hearing this, raised an eyebrow. He knew his father was no simple man and was proficient in the sword Dao. The 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture his father taught him benefited him greatly. He immediately bowed and said, "Please, father, enlighten me. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 937. Lu Miaoge's breakthrough, Lu Qingshan's strength. _4 As the voice faded, a golden magical sword appeared in Lu Qingshan's hand. With the magical sword in hand, his entire demeanor instantly became more formidable. The already vigorous and sharp character of his spirit immediately turned fierce and compelling, as if he were about to tear the sky asunder and rearrange the sun and the moon. This caused both Lu Chuanjin and Lu Wangshu standing nearby to be exceedingly astonished. They had not expected that this brother, who had returned after many years away, would be so astonishingly formidable. Especially Lu Wangshu. Confronted with Lu Qingshan's sharp and powerful momentum, he even felt his heart palpitate. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing also inwardly praised him, as expected of a 4th-rank seed of law. Not to mention anything else, just this aura alone would cause an ordinary energy-refining cultivator to weaken significantly upon encountering it. "Dad, be careful," Lu Qingshan said. His magical sword trembled lightly, giving his father a heads-up. Facing his mentor, Tianyuan True Immortal, he would draw his sword without any reservations. But his father was, after all, a foundation establishment cultivator. Moreover, listening to his grandfather's words, his father's prowess lay in talismans. Thus, he was worried about inadvertently injuring his own father, which would be unfilial. "Just strike without worry," Lu Chongqing said, his tall and straight figure standing with one hand resting behind his back, like an ancient pine or cypress, as elegant as a handsome tree facing the wind. First Yang, the magical sword in Lu Qingshan's hand thrust straight out, and in an instant a white gold sword chi burst forth. Whoosh! Lu Chongqing lightly raised his right hand. His 2 fingers came together, and a burst of sword chi shot out, erasing his son's sword chi. "Continue, there's no need to hold back," Lu Chongqing said calmly and indifferently. "Understood." Lu Qingshan, realizing he couldn't possibly harm his father, immediately went all out. True Yang 12 swords. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A fierce and brilliant golden brilliance burst forth from Lu Qingshan's magical sword, making it seem as if a round of golden sun were emerging behind him, shining with dazzling light. These sword lights all surged toward Lu Chongqing. Such power! Is this the strength of an immortal sect disciple? Lu Chuanjin, looking on from the side, felt as if waves of awe and shock surged in his heart. He had been away for many years and was aware of the strength of Lu's cultivators and family disciples, even though he had never crossed swords with an immortal sect disciple. Yet because of the cultivation technique taught by his uncle, which laid a robust foundation, he did not believe an immortal sect disciple would be stronger than himself. But now, seeing Lu Qingshan's prowess, he realized he had been somewhat arrogant before. Hum hum hum! An energy shield formed around Lu Chongqing, who stood quietly amidst the sword light, allowing the sword chi to attack. A moment later, all the sword chi dissipated, and Lu Chongqing still looked as graceful and dignified as before. Not bad, Lu Chongqing said, looking at his son and giving his comment. His words were genuinely heartfelt. Even though he was at the 9th level energy refinement and possessed the profound origin bead, he wouldn't dare say for sure he could beat his son Lu Qingshan without using talismans or puppets. At this moment, seeing Lu Qingshan's strength, he felt much more at ease about the upcoming journey to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. It seemed that it was precisely because of Lu Qingshan's abilities that his mentor, Tianyuan True Immortal, felt confident to send him to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, considering such a perilous secret realm as a trial to temper himself. Did you integrate the 7 luminaries' Great Freedom Sword Scripture with your Great Gengjin sword art in this sword technique? Lu Chongqing asked Lu Qingshan. He detected a trace of the 7 luminaries' sword scripture in that strike. You can tell with just one look, Dad. You're amazing, Lu Qingshan said with a grin, buttering up his father. This demeanor was in stark contrast to the earlier sharpness and unrivaled spirit, creating a strong contrast. This left Lu Chuanjin truly unable to understand his brother. Aren't sword cultivators supposed to be uncompromising and full of pride? His brother did seem to fit the description of the sword cultivators as mentioned in the books. But now Lu Wangshu, seeing Lu Qingshan act this way, curved her beautiful eyes into a smile, revealing an amused and somewhat empathetic expression. After asking briefly about his son's sword technique, Lu Chongqing made a few comments and then stopped there. Given Lu Qingshan's condition, his natural talent in the sword Dao meant he could carve his own path and didn't need too much guidance from him. Saying too much might actually affect Lu Qingshan. Chuanjin, what do you think of Qingshan's strength? Lu Chongqing asked his other son, Lu Chuanjin. Qingshan's strength is greater than mine. Lu Chuanjin shook his head in reply. He felt within his current abilities, it would be difficult to block that sword from before. Qingshan will also go to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm this time. Lu Chongqing continued. Qingshan is going to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Lu Chuanjin was surprised. Yes, Brother Chuanjin. Are you also going to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Lu Qingshan asked, raising his eyebrows. He had some impression of Lu Chuanjin. He was very smart in school earlier on, but his talent for cultivation seemed to be only average. However, looking at Lu Chuanjin, he discovered the latter's cultivation level had been concealed, preventing him from seeing through it. Yes, Chuanjin will also go to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. And when the time comes, you can look after each other, Lu Chongqing said. The Purple Shadow Secret Realm? Daddy, is that the Purple Shadow Secret Realm that opens every 30 years? I want to go too. Lu Wangshu's interest was piqued upon hearing this. Do you think the Purple Shadow Secret Realm is child's play? Lu Chongqing immediately retorted, tapping on his daughter's forehead. CTHNL Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I was just saying, Dad, if you keep tapping like this, you'll make your smart and cute daughter stupid. Lu Wangshu pouted, playing the innocent. Dad, don't worry. Lu Qingshan nodded in response. Father, I'd like to spar with Qingshan, to see the gap between us, Lu Chuanjin said at this moment, looking at Lu Chongqing. Although he felt his combat prowess was not as good as Lu Qingshan's, He wanted to see the specific gap. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 938, Brothers Spar, so this is how to play, right? Qingshan, what do you think? Lu Chongxing looked at his son, Lu Qingshan, and asked. He also wanted to see the gap between the two's strength. Since Brother Chuanjin wants to spar, naturally we can. Lu Qingshan said with a casual smile. He could feel that the Lu Chuanjin standing before him was not simple, and he was also willing to exchange hands and compare. All right, give it a try, just stop when a point is made. Lu Chongxing nodded upon hearing this, and pulled his daughter, who was watching eagerly, to the side and spoke out loud. Qingshan, please enlighten me. Lu Chuanjin was very polite, cupping his fists in a salute. Then his body shook, the 5 elements Kunping technique activated. His black magical robe moved without wind, rustling loudly. The 5 elements spiritual light flowed, transforming into a small 5-colored fish. Brother Chuanjin, no offense taken. At this moment, Lu Qingshan immediately saw Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level and greeted with a cupped fist. Although the other party was much older than him. But reaching the 9th level energy refinement at this age was still very impressive. The lion fights the rabbit with all its might. Even though it was just a sparring between brothers out of respect, he still went all out. As soon as he finished speaking, the golden magical sword in his hand slashed out suddenly. Swoosh! A sharp sword chi tore through the air, reaching Lu Chuanjin in an instant. Hoo hoo hoo! Rolling 5-colored torrents surged out from Lu Quanzhen's body, sweeping up with the sword chi. However, in an instant, the sword chi burst forth with a blazing light, engulfing the torrent and shooting directly at Lu Chuanjin. But just as the giant wave was about to be extinguished, a small 5-colored fish appeared and swallowed the sword chi in one gulp. Crash! The small 5-colored fish in the air was like a great whale drawing in water, swallowing all the nature's spiritual energy from all directions, causing its body to inflate rapidly, growing to the size of 10 feet. Its fins extended, resembling a huge fish with wings, and charged towards Lu Qingshan to swallow him whole. Good shot! Seeing this, Lu Qingshan immediately laughed heartily, his demeanor fierce as his sword went forth to meet the attack. The sword light was unselfish, dazzlingly bright, countless sword chi condensed into a semblance of a flood dragon, roaring as it surged forward, stirring up layers of strong winds, aiming to tear the giant fish apart. Boom, boom, boom! Sword chi flood dragon and 5 elements giant fish continued to collide in combat. But before long, under the fierce and domineering onslaught of the flood dragon, the giant fish retreated step by step, riddled with holes. 5 elements Kunping technique. Lu Chuanjin gestured an incantation, with the 5 elements rotating around him, making the weakened giant fish roar, suddenly turning its huge body as if a whale leapt from the river, rising into the sky. In an instant, the fins of the fish rapidly became large and wide, turning into a pair of wings swirling with black and white, resembling a pung bird. Screech! The pung bird spread its wings, looking disdainfully majestic as it dove down, instantly tearing the flood dragon in two and opening its mouth wide to swallow all the sword light and attack Lu Qingshan. It seems that whether it's Qingshan or Chuanjin, they're both much more formidable than I had imagined. Lu Chongsheng, watching the sparring before him, stroked his chin. If it weren't for the validation match today, he truly wouldn't have known the combat power of his 2 sons. After all, the system only provided feedback for his children's cultivation levels and did not reveal specifics of their combat strength. Beside him, Lu Wangshu also changed from her earlier spectator's demeanor to seriousness, watching her 2 brothers duel. Although she was at the 5th level of chi refinement, apart from the basic techniques practiced in the school, she had never experienced a true duel. Nor had she ever seen such an exciting match. The duel between the 2 was very exciting in her eyes. Very good, very good. Lu Qingshan revealed a bit of surprise in his eyes and laughed loudly. He knew that his 17th brother was much more formidable than he had imagined. Such strength, even if placed in the Jinyang Sect's sword contest, would be more than enough to break into the top 10. He continued to strike, the magical sword in his hand bursting with endless golden light, sharp sword chi. The blazingly fierce and dazzlingly piercing sword light gradually annihilated the Peng bird. Lu Chongqing watched seriously, ready to intervene at any moment. If Lu Chuanzhen couldn't withstand it, he would step in immediately. Facing this sword attack, spiritual power continuously surged out from inside Lu Chuanzhen. But a moment later, realizing the gap between them, he immediately switched from offense to defense, making the Peng bird cry out and forming rolling tidal waves to block the sword light. And around him, whirlpools of 5 elements appeared, spinning continuously, dissolving the onslaught. That's enough, let's stop here. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing took a step forward, flicked his sleeve, and dispersed Lu Qingshan's sword chi. He could see that, although it was just a simple spar, neither of them had held back, and their exhaustion was not small. Well done. Both of your performances were quite impressive. When we go to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm as your father, I can now rest easy. Lu Chongqing patted both of his sons on the shoulders and praised them aloud. As a parent who doesn't want their sons to be dragons and their daughters to be phoenixes, he was no exception. Then he turned to his daughter, Lu Wangshu, and said, Wangshu, when you have time, ask your brother Chuanzhen and brother Qingshan for more advice and spend more time on cultivation. Don't think about playing all the time, understand? S.E.A. the novel F. Iyer. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing lectured, but his voice was very gentle. After all, his daughter might be fond of playing, but she wasn't neglecting her cultivation. I know, Daddy. Lu Wangshu puffed up her cute face, obediently responding. She poked her tender cheeks with 2 tender jade fingers, producing a pop-pop sound, looking very adorable. Then, as if she thought of something, her eyes curved up, and she smiled happily, coming to Lu Changsheng's side, holding her father's arm in a sticky tone. Daddy, how about I also ask Brother Qingshan for some pointers? But if I do well, and win against Brother Qingshan, is there a reward? Lu Wangshu, in her pink and white dress, with her delicate face and bright and attractive features, spoke as a gentle breeze blew by, causing several strands of hair to fall on her clean forehead, revealing a pair of bright and full eyes, very charming as they moved. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 939. Brother spar playing like this. Huh? Lu Wangshu's remark made Lu Chongqing, Lu Qingshan, and Lu Chuanzhen all hold back their laughter. Ha ha ha. Since Wangshu wants to seek guidance from her brother, then your brother Qingshan is of course happy to oblige. Lu Qingshan laughed heartily. If someone else had said these words, Lu Qingshan would have struck them with his sword directly. A mere energy refinement 5th layer dares to speak such words in front of him. Is this an insult? But after all, she is his own sister, and he is willing to indulge in her playfulness. Daddy, is there a reward? Lu Wangshu looked at her father with a puffed-up face, seemingly feeling underestimated. Fine, if you can really beat Qingshan, you can ask for whatever you want, Lu Chongqing said, even though he didn't know what tricks his daughter was playing. But he also wanted to see where her confidence and courage came from. Wangshu, how about this? You give me half of the reward, and he'll just admit defeat, or you can have me lose in any position you'd like. Lu Qingshan teased, clearly seeing that his sister had an upbeat personality, so he joked with her. Brother Qingshan, isn't it said in the books that sword cultivators are all incredibly staunch and unyielding? How can you do something like admit defeat? Lu Wangshu tilted her little head and spoke in a somewhat dazed and adorable manner. Although she saw that her nominal brother was not as cold and aloof as sword cultivators were said to be, she never expected him to say something like that. Losing to one's own sister is not really losing, and besides, there are benefits to it, Lu Qingshan said nonchalantly. But Lu Wangshu, want to win fair and square? Brother Qingshan, take this. Lu Wangshu puffed up her face as if she felt looked down upon, and her adorable fuming expression made everyone struggle to hold back their smiles. But in the next moment, shoo shoo shoo, Lu Wangshu lightly patted her exquisitely beautiful storage bag at her waist. Suddenly, a slew of talismans streamed out in an orderly fashion and hung suspended in the air. Holy shit, playing like this? Lu Qingshan, with a relaxed and casual demeanor, thought he'd just indulge his sister in her playhouse, curious about what skills she had. But upon seeing this scene, he was stunned, and he then looked at his father. After all, if this was how they were playing, he was not going to oblige. Lu Chuanjin, who was standing beside them, was also slightly startled, his lips twitching. He could tell that most of these talismans were superior-grade talismans and supreme talismans, and it seemed there were even a few second-rank talismans mixed in. If they fought with these, what chance would an energy-refining cultivator have? But his sister was only at the energy refinement 5th layer, and she had so many talismans, even second-rank ones. Sir, the novel fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He couldn't help but look at his father. Isn't this nonsense? Who spars like this? And it's dangerous for you to use second-rank talismans at your current level. You might hurt yourself, Lu Chongshang said irritably. He immediately raised his hand to suppress these talismans, fearing that his daughter might activate them. After all, he saw at a glance that among these talismans, there were 36 superior-grade talismans, 9 supreme talismans, and 3 second-rank talismans. If all of them were detonated, not to mention energy refinement, even a cultivator at the foundation establishment level would be grievously injured. Daddy, wasn't it you who taught me to immediately utilize the talisman formation once a fight starts, to never give the opponent a chance? Lu Wangshu made an innocent face and said, Besides, I've already mastered the 99 Windfire Talisman formation. I won't hurt myself. I did teach you that, but, huh? You said you've mastered the 99 Windfire formation? Lu Chongxing exclaimed, surprised and skeptical. The 99 Windfire Talisman formation, while just one of the basic formations in the 99 Mystical Talisman scripture, still required at least an energy refinement late-stage practitioner to control it. His daughter was only at the 5th layer of energy refinement, clearly unable to do so. I wanted to give you a surprise, Daddy, Lu Wangshu said. Haha, a surprise? More like a scare. That said, Wangshu, demonstrate using some low-quality talismans for me to see. If you can really do it, just name your reward. Lu Chongxing spoke, eager to know how his daughter had accomplished this. All right. Lu Wangshu's face lit up with joy, and she patted her storage bag. Suddenly, dozens of low-quality talismans flew out, forming an array in mid-air which then rapidly spun, connecting energetically to form a talisman formation. Good, good, good. Lu Changsheng's face showed delight, noticing that his daughter Lu Wangshu's mental spirit was extraordinary, no less than that of an energy refinement late-stage practitioner. Seeing that there were no targets around, he turned towards Lu Qingshan and said, Come, Qingshan, critique your sister's formation. These are all low-quality talismans. They won't be dangerous for you. Lu Qingshan, seeing that they were only low-quality talismans, was also undaunted. With his magical sword in hand, he chuckled lightly and said with unconcern, Wang Shu, come on, let your brother Qingshan see how good your talisman formation skills are. Brother Qingshan, be careful. Lu Wangshu exclaimed crisply, and then rapidly performed gesture incantations. 99 Wind-Fire Formation. Activate. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, the talisman formation spun around, enveloping Lu Qingshan and bombarding him collectively. Confronted with such an onslaught, Lu Qingshan did not spoil the fun by breaking the formation. Instead, his sword gleamed, creating a protective sword chi barrier, like a net, that neutralized each of the talisman formation's attacks. TSK, TSK, TSK. It's normal for the Jiang country cultivation realm to lack a talisman cultivator lineage. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to practice even if they had it. Lu Chuanjin watched the scene and felt emotional. Even though low-quality talismans only cost 1 or 2 spirit stones each, so many talismans would still cost nearly 100 spirit stones. Just to practice and experience the talisman formation once would cost 100 spirit stones. How many people could afford such an expense? Even Lu Wangshu could do this only because of her father's doting. Daddy, how was it? Lu Wangshu tilted her chin up slightly, with a bit of a proud and adorable expression. Haha, not bad. Have you been secretly practicing the mystic symbol forging divine technique to strengthen your mental spirit? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 940, Brother Spar. Is this how you play? Lu Chongqing rubbed his daughter's black silky hair, smiling as he spoke. He guessed that his daughter had spent quite some time on the mystic symbol forging divine technique for nurturing the spirit. CTH Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I told you I fish for cultivation. Daddy, you didn't believe me? Now do you believe it? Lu Wangshu said with a face full of grievance. All right, Daddy wronged you. Lu Chongqing couldn't help but laugh wryly. Besides cultivating and making talismans, his daughter also cultivated the mystic symbol forging divine technique, so he could only say that his daughter wasn't slacking and was very diligent. Or you could say, his daughter's talent in cultivation was truly exceptional, capable of multitasking. He looked at his daughter and continued, Tell me, what reward do you want? Do you want to upgrade and recast your beloved boat or something else? Hee, I want you to make me a puppet, Lu Wangshu stated. Making a puppet, no problem. Just tell Daddy what kind you want later. Lu Chongqing didn't refuse. His daughter had always been interested in puppets, liking to tinker with them. Or rather, his daughter had interest in puppets, alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making, and beast taming. Dad, I'm going to the Purple Shadow secret realm this time. It might be very dangerous. Do you have any treasures for self-protection? Perhaps a few second-rank talismans, not too many. Just give me a few dozen. At this moment, Lu Qingshan stepped forward and spoke out. Lu Wangshu's mouth gaped open, shocked by Lu Qingshan's cheekiness. She had to find a reason before she could ask her father for things. She didn't expect Lu Qingshan to straightforwardly ask for a few dozen second-rank talismans. Roll. Do you think second-rank talismans are cabbages? Lu Chongqing spoke irritably. He himself only had a few thousand talismans on hand. When his son just asked for dozens, it really showed that those who don't make talismans don't know the difficulty. But still, he fished out 2 stacks of talismans from his storage bag and handed them to Lu Qingshan and Lu Chuanjin. 10 each, no more. It's not easy for your father to make even some talismans daily. Thanks, Dad. Lu Qingshan quickly accepted them, expressing his thanks. Thank you, father. Lu Chuanjin saw Lu Qingshan accept them and naturally didn't refuse. Brother Qingshan, aren't you a sword cultivator? Why do you still need talismans? Lu Wangshu asked Lu Qingshan. Being a sword cultivator doesn't mean I can only use a sword. It's good to have many skills. If I encounter any magic artifacts that counter flying swords, I can either blast them with talismans or use them to escape. Lu Qingshan said in a carefree manner. Isn't it said that all sword cultivators have a resolute heart, preferring to break rather than bend, charging forward undeflected? Lu Wangshu continued to inquire. She wasn't pretending to be ignorant. She simply hadn't encountered sword cultivators before. Everyone outside said so, misinforming one another. Resolute heart, preferring to break rather than bend, refers to the sword cultivator's belief in not going against their conscience, not recoiling in seeking mercy. Hence, many sword cultivators are filled with pride. But many times, when one clearly can't win and can escape but chooses to court death instead, that's a sign of mental issues. Lu Qingshan explained. Oh, I see. I always thought training with a sword would damage the brain, Lu Wangshu said as if a light bulb went off. At this moment, Lu Chongqing thought of something and turned to ask Lu Qingshan. Qingshan, where would Chuanjin rank if he participated in the Jinyang sect sword trial? He had wanted to ask this question earlier, but it had slipped his mind because Lu Wangshu interrupted him. Brother Quanzhen's strength should easily make the top 10. Lu Qingshan pondered briefly before answering. Top 10? Qingshan, what's your ranking in the Jinyang sect in such sword trials? Lu Chuanzhen, hearing this, took a moment, then immediately asked. He had just felt that Lu Qingshan's combat strength should belong to the top echelon among the immortal sects. Otherwise, the disparity in combat strength among the disciples of the sects would be too exaggerated. I'm naturally first, Lu Qingshan replied with a suave smile. Brother Qingshan, you're really amazing. Lu Wangshu was somewhat surprised, just realizing how powerful her adoptive brother was. After all, achieving first place, no matter where, was extraordinary. Just SOSO. It's just being first in Jinyang sect. In 2 years, you country's 5 great immortal sects will hold a sword trial, and if I seize first place then, my name might get known even here in Jiang country. Later, if you encounter any issues, you can just mention my name. Lu Qingshan said nonchalantly. You can't bear to not show off, can you? Lu Chongqing was somewhat speechless. Dad, don't you think such things add to one's prestige? In the future, when people see you, they'll exclaim in admiration, look, that's the father of Qingshan, the sword immortal. Lu Qingshan joked. Just don't cause me trouble, and I'll be thankful enough. Lu Chongqing spoke irritably. Hearing Lu Qingshan's words, Lu Chuanzhen felt much more serene inside. He now knew his younger brother was not just top tier, but among the most elite. Currently, his own combat strength was not far behind the true transmissions of the immortal sects. Once I break through foundation establishment and comprehend the Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunping technique and cultivate its several techniques and secrets, my combat strength will further improve. Lu Chuanzhen murmured to himself, not at all disheartened, confronting his own reality. Then, the group returned to the Lu family mansion, chatting and laughing all the way. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 941. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. In a certain valley, a tall and robust figure was practicing martial arts. His black hair was thick, his body nimble, and as the sunlight shone upon him, his muscles appeared to gleam with a thin layer of gold, as if they were cast in gold. Wham! 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 The man's punches and kicks flew, creating whooshing and whistling sounds as they moved through the air. Nearby trees and giant stones shattered under the force of his blows, exploding like dynamite, turning into dust, with chips and stones filling the air. Although Lu Pingon had already reached the pinnacle of the martial path, with no further steps to climb, he still persisted in his martial arts practice. One reason was the habit he had formed since childhood. Another reason was that he found many martial techniques to be particularly effective in close combat against cultivators, yielding unexpected results, so he continued practicing to integrate and master them. The final reason was that he discovered that practicing martial arts could speed up the refinement of the magical treasures within his body, making it a form of cultivation. Open Mountain. After practicing for a while, Lu Pingan's breathing suddenly changed, sounding like the roar of a dragon or bellow of an elephant. His breath heavy as if his body was as majestic as mountains and as grand as peaks, with all his tendons and bones singing harmoniously and his internal organs rumbling. Then his right fist swung out like a dragon snake taking flight, slamming forward ferociously. If someone observed with the spiritual spring technique, they would see a giant axe appearing faintly behind Lu Pingon, chopping down forcefully. Boom! In an instant, the mountain range in front of him erupted with a thunderous noise under the overwhelming force of the punch, echoing throughout the valley and startling birds and beasts with shrieks. After a while, once the dust settled, the mountain seemed to have been split by a giant axe, leaving behind a deep, charred, and smoldering crevasse. I've finally mastered it. Lu Pingon exhaled a heated breath, his majestic physique now charged with a more wild and domineering presence, intimidating to those around. This punch was a result of his enlightenment through the nurtured treasure bones. Using the treasure bones as a medium, He fused the spirit meat with them to borrow a fraction of the power and presence from the magical treasures within his body. Previously, due to his physical limitations, he couldn't grasp this power. But now, at the energy refinement late stage, having broken through to the 5th layer of the 100 refinements treasure body art, he finally mastered this power through continuous familiarity. Pingon brother, Pingon brother. At this moment, a crisp female voice rang out. A petite figure in a red dress approached, curious and playful, calling out as she ran. Joer. Lu Pingon saw Su Joer and immediately reined in his aura, turning his head to look and greeted her cheerfully. Out of guilt for accidentally killing her pet after she had saved him, he felt particularly indebted to her. So, seeing Su Joer all alone and lonesome, he stayed to keep her company and to chat, brightening her spirits. Usually, he would practice martial arts in his spare time, slowly becoming familiar with and integrating the power of the 100 refinements treasure body art. As their interactions increased, their relationship grew more cordial. He treated her as his little sister, and at some point she started calling him Pingon brother all the time. Pingon brother, Xiao Bai has given birth. She had 3 little Xiao Bais. Su Joer's eyes curved into crescents, her face full of joy as she spoke to Lu Pingon. Oh, let's go have a look, Lu Pingon said with a smile. SAR the novel _fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Su Joer's life was quite monotonous and dull. Her days consisted of looking at plants, playing with crickets and bugs, or casually strolling through the forest. So Lu Pingon caught a few demon beasts for her, cleared a vegetable garden, and dug a pond. At least then she would have something to do. Feed the demon beasts, tend to the garden, watch the frogs in the pond, and go fishing. These trivial and mundane tasks were full of fun for Su Joer, and she felt very happy and content with them every day. Soon, the two of them arrived at a small bamboo grove where they lived. The place had taken on more of a lived-in feel since Lu Pingon had cultivated and improved it. Then they went to a nest built of stone, where 2 white tigers lay. Upon seeing Lu Pingon, the 2 tigers immediately showed fear. Although Lu Pingon knew some basic beast-taming knowledge, it was only theoretical. So, to subdue these 2 tigers at first, he used the most ancient and simple method and fought them for half a month. This caused the tigers to fear him deep down. Now, you could see one of the tigers lying exhaustedly with 3 newborn tiger cubs suckling on her. The 2 did not disturb them and just quietly observed the tigers. After a while, Lu Pingon took one of the tigers, Dabai, out hunting. It's been about half a year, hasn't it? That night, Lu Pingon, Shaoan, and Su Joer gazed at the stars in the night sky. He remembered that it had been about half a year since he arrived here. He had been thinking of returning home for a while. After all, he had told his father that he would return once he reached the 7th level energy refinement. But he also felt that leaving would make Su Joer very lonely and sad. Lu Pingon took a deep breath, realizing that this matter had to be addressed sooner or later. He couldn't stay here with her forever. He clenched and then unclenched his fists, mustering his courage, and turned to the girl. Joer, what is it, Pingon brother? Su Joer crouched on the ground, hugging her knees, smiling as she looked up at Lu Pingon. That. Lu Pingon looked at the girl's cheeks and suddenly didn't know how to start. After scratching his head and with an apologetic expression, he said, I actually have some other matters and can't stay here all the time. Su Joer felt a tremor in her heart upon hearing this and a sense of loss. After a while, she finally spoke softly, Pingon brother, will you come back to see Joer in the future? She might be naive, but she understood that Lu Pingon couldn't stay with her forever. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 942. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He had his own matters to attend to, just like his parents had theirs to do. CTH Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yes, I'll come visit Joer when I have time. Lu Pingon quickly nodded and said, He planned to take care of the parasitic cultivators who had tried to kill him before, then return home. When he headed for Zhuxiao Immortal City, he would come to see his sister. Brother Pingon, you can't lie to me. Come see me when you have time. Let's pinky swear. The girl's eyes seemed to twinkle with a bright glow as she stretched out her fair finger and solemnly said, "Okay." Lu Pingon grinned and extended his finger to pinky swear with the girl. Brother Pingon, when do you plan to leave? After the pinky swear, Su Jior smiled with her eyes squinting, appearing radiant and moist under the night sky. In a few days. Lu Pingon thought it over, feeling he should spend a little more time with Su Jior. Brother Pingon, please take good care of yourself when you leave. Grandma says it's very dangerous outside. Although Su Jior felt quite disheartened, she tried to appear as natural as possible. She knew that showing her sadness would affect him. That night, the two talked for a long time until the grandmother reminded Su Jior to go to bed, and she returned to her bamboo house to rest. Lu Pingon also returned to his own room to rest. Lu Pingon. At this moment, an old woman with white hair, a withered face, holding a serpent-headed cane, appeared in the room. Grandma. Lu Pingon looked at the old woman and called out. After spending so much time together, he knew that this grandmother was a cultivator. But her specific name and cultivation level were unknown to him. He only knew that she was taking care of Su Jior. Otherwise, he would have considered taking Su Jior home with him so she wouldn't be so lonely and bored. When you leave this place, you must not speak of Jior's matters to anyone. The old woman's voice was aged as she said this. Please rest assured, Grandma. I will certainly not speak of your and Jior's matters. Lu Pingon might have been a bit naive, but he wasn't foolish. He was aware that Su Jior and the grandmother must have some secret, which was why they lived here. After some thought, he took a heart demon oath on the spot. Because words alone were not reliable, for cultivators, this oath was extremely solemn. Good. You can come see Jior when you have the time. Seeing this, the old woman's voice softened slightly, and she vanished. Through her observations over the past 6 months, she saw that Lu Pingon was forthright and not a malevolent person. Otherwise, even if he appeared to be a descendant of a true monarch, she wouldn't have let him leave so easily. However, throughout these 6 months, she felt that Lu Pingon didn't seem like the descendant of a true monarch at all. He seemed more like an ordinary martial artist who had come upon a great fortune. Otherwise, how could it be that one on the immortal path still practiced everyday crude martial arts? 7 days later, Lu Pingon bid farewell to Su Jior. He wanted to say something but felt that anything he said would be superfluous. Eventually, he merely scratched his head and softly said, Jior, take care. Brother Pingon, this is the peace charm I made for you. I hope everything goes your way, safe and sound. The girl's eyelashes trembled slightly as she nodded with a smile, taking out a talisman pouch. Thank you, it's very pretty. Lu Pingon received the talisman pouch and earnestly said. He had noticed, days earlier, that the girl had been clumsily making the talisman pouch, obviously putting in a lot of effort. I'm off. Taking a deep breath, he waved his hand and said, Aha! Lu Pingon took large strides without looking back, knowing that Su Jior must be watching him. But at that moment, he couldn't help remembering his own parting with Chini years ago. Back then, like Su Jior, he had bid farewell. Only at that time, they were divided by their mortal and immortal realms. She was headed for the distant heavenly sword sect, while he had chosen to return home to take over the family business, so their chances of meeting again were virtually non-existent. But now it was not a farewell forever. Suddenly, Lu Pingon turned around, his face beaming with a smile, and loudly said, Jior, don't worry. I'll come back to visit you when I have time. Brother Pingon, have a safe journey. The girl's face showed a smile. Phew! At that moment, Lu Pingon felt his heart was much more relaxed and carefree. Then, with a light step, his figure blurred like a phantom towards the direction of the cliff and the ruined temple. Time flew quickly, and in the blink of an eye 3 months had passed. Originally, Lu Chongqing had planned to take Lu Wangshu to the Luoyun mountain range during this time to visit Shaoxia. But because of the opening of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, and the return of Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu to the family, this plan was naturally postponed. He planned to wait until the matters of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm were finished before taking his daughter Lu Wangshu out for a trip. As the time for the Purple Shadow Secret Realm's opening drew near, many family forces and loose cultivators headed towards the realm. During these times, though sales of elixir medicines, talisman, puppets, and magic artifacts had increased, it wasn't by a staggering amount. One reason was that everyone was aware of the secret realm and would have made preparations in advance. Another was that, although there were many going to the secret realm once averaged out, the numbers seemed quite ordinary. However, sales of the puppets from Bihu Mountain had seen a significant increase over these months. In the puppet workshop within a side hall, Lu Chongxing was crafting a custom-made puppet for his beloved daughter. His daughter, Lu Wangshu, was helping by taking care of the children, playing with Lu Lingxiao and Lu Lingyi. Bayu! Lu Wangshu made a gesture towards Lu Lingyi, who paused for a moment before wu, collapsing to the ground. Sitting beside them, Lu Lingxiao watched the scene with disdain and speechlessness, feeling that the two were exceedingly childish, while focusing on their father engraving spiritual patterns. Lu Lingyi, however, was having a great time, and then looking up with a sister, he called out to Lu Wangshu for some candy. Wangshu, eating too much candy is bad for your teeth. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 943. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Lu Chongxing looked at the two sisters and spoke up to remind them. Daddy, since when do cultivators have bad teeth? Lu Wangshu revealed her own snow-white, neatly arranged teeth. Then, with a flick of her index finger and thumb, she popped a candy into her little sister's mouth, saying, Right, Xiaohe. Lu Lingyi nodded vigorously. Watching this scene, Lu Chongxing couldn't help but wonder. Was having Lu Wangshu spend more time getting close to these siblings a good thing? Or a bad thing? Could it lead them astray? He felt it was necessary to seriously consider this issue. Long after, Lu Chongxing finished polishing a puppet part and stood up, calling it a day. Although he said he was making a puppet for his daughter, such a project with its great scope would certainly take a year or two to deliver. Lu Chongxing, with his children in tow, left the puppet workshop and returned to the Lu family mansion. Husband, today I saw a young woman who I think would be very suitable for Chuanjin. Chu Zhenjin approached Lu Chongxing as soon as she saw him, eager to share. Because of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm matter, Lu Chongxing had not asked Lu Chuanjin to return to White Tiger Mountain to take charge, instead leaving the matter to his son Lu Qingsong. And during these days, Chu Zhenshin's routine marriage pushing had resumed. After all, with 4 children, Lu Yuzhen, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Huaizhen all settled down, it was natural for her to put her heart and soul into getting the eldest son, Lu Chuanjin, married. All right, Zhenjin, you make the decision. As long as Chuanjin agrees, I will go propose immediately. Lu Chongxing smiled and nodded, wanting nothing to do with these matters. But Chuanjin is avoiding me, and I don't know where he's gone, Chu Zhenjin said, feeling somewhat aggrieved. 2 months ago, Chu Zhenjin had finally cultivated the auspicious tree as her life-bound spiritual root. The effect was a few notches below Lu Miao's, boosting her only to the 8th level energy refinement. However, she did undergo quite a change. Not only did she look a few years younger, but she also gained a somewhat ethereal and natural aura. That night, Lu Chongxing attempted dual cultivation with Chu Zhenjin to see if he could gain any special traits from the auspicious tree. At the end of their dual cultivation, Lu Changsheng's mental spirit was utterly calm, free of all distractions, as if had entered a sage-like state. Because of this, he immediately gave up on practicing the tender embrace technique with Chu Zhenjin. In the long run, who could withstand such tranquility? It's good that Chuanjin is dedicated to his cultivation, and getting married later is no problem. Let him be. Lu Chongxing said offhandedly. Although he encouraged his children to procreate, he still maintained an attitude of letting nature take its course. After all, He would still support them if the children wished to pursue cultivation diligently. But getting married doesn't affect one's cultivation, Chu Jinjin replied. Although she had heard that getting married could hinder cultivation, her own husband, with a bevy of wives and a house full of children, didn't seem to be affected in the least. Thus, clearly that rumor was false. Children and grandchildren have their own luck. If Jinjin likes children so much, we could have a few more. Lu Chongqing wrapped his arm around his petite wife and whispered in her ear, "Husband." Upon hearing this, Chu Zenshin's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Such an old couple they were, with children already so grown, and yet they were contemplating more kids. But Chu Jinjin thought of the books that stated if both parents were formidable, the children they bore would be clever and formidable, with exceptional talents. If she could become a foundation-building great cultivator like her sister Miaoyun, the child she and her husband would have might be as outstanding as Qingshan, with exceptional talent. At this moment, she felt a twinge of anticipation. After all, her husband truly adored children, and she could see that he showed a bit more affection for those with extraordinary talents. That day, a system notification resounded in Lu Changsheng's mind. "Congratulations, host, for 100 of your progeny breaking through to the martial Dao innate, granting a bloodline effect, a 3% increase in the probability of offspring having spiritual roots, and a chance for 1 lottery draw. It's changed from fertility probability to offspring spiritual root probability." Lu Chongqing noticed a change in the bloodline effects granted by the system. It had previously been about the probability of him having more descendants. Now it was about the probability of his offspring having spiritual roots. 3%. Not bad at all. Lu Chongqing didn't feel the probability was small. On one hand, there was still potential for improvement in the future. On the other hand, the probability of mortals giving birth to offspring with a spiritual root was exceedingly low. The Lu family's third generation numbered over 240 people now. Yet among them, only 19 children had a spiritual root. The reason was simple. When it came to childbirth, even with policy encouragement, the primary population still came from the secular world without spiritual roots. On by Lake Mountainside, only a few obedient children like Lu Yun and Lu Xianji started families early and had offspring. Few other children chose to marry. Lu Chongqing was roughly aware that it should be because of himself, a father with a 9th-grade spiritual root, having achieved so much. Therefore, even the children in the family with lower-grade spiritual roots still harbored some dreams of foundation establishment, striving as much as possible while they were young. Not even 100, and it's just a normal lottery. Lu Chongqing, seeing it was only a normal lottery, felt somewhat listless. Having experienced several advanced-level lotteries, he gradually became somewhat disdainful of normal lotteries. However, since he had already received the child money, he naturally wouldn't waste it. "System, draw the lottery." As his words fell, the system's great roulette began to spin rapidly. Then it slowly stopped at the elixir medicines category. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining a bottle of Purple Mansion elixir. The reward has been delivered to the system space. The host may check it at any time. An image of an elixir appeared from the roulette accompanied by a system notification sound. Purple Mansion elixir? The system rewards can draw duplicate rewards? Lu Changsheng's eyebrows raised. He had drawn the lottery over 40 times now. This was the first time he had drawn a repeated reward. Elixir medicine. Purple Mansion elixir. Quality. 3rd rank. Description. Can purify the soul, clarify the physical body, strengthen the divine sense and physique. Indeed exactly the same, but this Purple Mansion elixir is still quite good. Lu Chongqing pondered about the Purple Mansion elixir in his system space. Although the Purple Mansion elixir was not as good as the coagulation crystal elixir, a bottle of 10 pills could still be considered top-tier elixir medicines. Originally, after he had consumed 10 Purple Mansion elixirs, not only was his physical body enhanced, but his divine sense jumped from the initial stage of foundation establishment to the foundation establishment late stage. This improvement could not be said to be small. Now that Xuanjin and Qingshan are about to break through foundation establishment, this Purple Mansion elixir will be used by them when the time comes. Lu Chongqing thought to himself. Now that his physical body and divine sense would get limited effects from consuming the Purple Mansion elixir, it would be better to let his children consume it. After all, when they broke through their realms, it would also reflect back onto him. Immediately, Lu Chongsheng extracted the Purple Mansion elixir from the system space and placed it into his storage ring. Looking at the time, the Purple Shadow Secret Realm should also be about to open. Lu Chongsheng thought of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm and prepared to send Lu Chuanjin there. As for Lu Qingshan, his master Tianyuan True Immortal had already indicated he would come to receive him, so it was unnecessary for Lu Chongsheng to escort him. Soon after, Lu Chongsheng explained things to Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, and Lu Qingshan, and then took Lu Chuanjin away from Bai Lake Mountain toward Ziyun Gorge, where the Purple Shadow Secret Realm was located. The distance from Bai Lake Mountain to Ziyun Gorge was not very far. Heading north, it was approximately a month's journey by controlling a spirit boat. Just as Lu Chongsheng was sending Lu Chuanjin to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, in a mountain range, it seems to be in this direction, right? Pingon. Look, am I going the right way? Lu Pingon, tall and robust in a green outfit, rode on a black spirit horse, holding a map and asking Pingon beside him. Pingon looked at the map for a long time, then nodded, indicating it should be correct. Since it's right, then let's set off again. Lu Pingon promptly packed up the spirit horse and continued on his way. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. 3 months ago, he had been continuously investigating and had blasted to death several parasitic cultivators who had ambushed him. During this time, he heard the news that the Purple Shadow Secret Realm was opening. Having long known of the famous Purple Shadow Secret Realm, Pingon knew that it was most renowned for producing primary spiritual medicine for Foundation Establishment elixirs, the Heavenly Spirit Fruit. Thinking of his current strength, an idea suddenly sprang to mind to take a trip to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He hoped to see if he could gain anything and find a few Heavenly Spirit Fruits. In this way, not only would his own future Foundation establishment be hopeful, but he could also prepare Foundation establishment elixirs for his aunt and siblings. So he bought a map, and instead of going home, he changed his course toward the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 944. Pingon. How did you get here? Ziyun Gorge. The entire gorge extended for hundreds of miles, flanked by vast and lofty mountain ranges. Due to the presence of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, there were almost no traces of demon beasts along this section of the gorge. Even if a few demon beasts occasionally appeared, they would be hunted by passing cultivators and nearby family forces. On this journey, what one truly needed to be cautious of was other cultivators. Because the Purple Shadow Secret Realm opened once every 30 years, it was common knowledge. Many chose not to venture into the secret realm but instead turned into robber cultivators, lying in wait to ambush and kill here. At this moment, Lu Chongsheng was steering a spirit boat, taking Lu Chuanjin into Ziyun Gorge. He wore luxurious dark robes, standing tall and straight on the spirit boat with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding an aura of profound stability and confidence, emitting a faint Foundation establishment spiritual pressure. Facing such a spiritual pressure, naturally, no robber cultivator dared to act recklessly. After all, most robber cultivators were merely energy-refining cultivators. They would only target seemingly easy-to-bully loose cultivators. This made Lu Chongsheng muse whether there might be Foundation establishment cultivators intentionally disguising themselves, coming here to fish for law enforcement. After all, the cultivation world never lacked such idle people. Moreover, instead of robbing poor loose cultivators, it was better to rob robber cultivators. Soon after, Lu Chongsheng drove the spirit boat through the gorge and arrived at the end. Ahead was a vast expanse of yellow soil slope. At the center of the slope seemed to be a large purple altar. Scattered around the altar were numerous cultivators, numbering in the hundreds. It was quite bustling. 99% of these cultivators were energy-refining cultivators. However, most of them possessed the cultivation level of the energy refinement late stage. Most Foundation establishment cultivators, like Lu Chongsheng, were sending family juniors or descendants. However, they mostly had 3 or 4 or even 7 or 8 energy refining cultivators by their side. Like Lu Chongsheng, who only brought one person, was rather rare. Seeing Lu Changsheng's spirit boat slowly descend, a few nearby energy refining cultivators immediately showed a respectful demeanor and moved aside to make room, to avoid offending Lu Chongsheng or being deemed displeasing by him. After all, the moods of Foundation establishment cultivators were unpredictable. If one was in a bad mood and found them bothersome, attacking them would leave them nowhere even to cry. This purple shadow secret realm really is lively. Lu Chongsheng put away the spirit boat and looked at the scene, clicking his tongue. Although he had visited Jiuxiao Immortal City and Azure Phoenix Immortal City, he had never seen such a gathering of hundreds of cultivators ready for action like in the purple shadow secret realm. At this time, he spotted people from Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake in the crowd. Qingzhou Mountain was led by someone he knew, Lu Miaofeng. In total, there were 4 people besides Lu Miaofeng who was at 9th level energy refinement. The other 3 were only at 8th and 7th level energy refinement. Lu Chongsheng did not go up to greet them. He came here incognito this trip and had disguised himself along with Lu Chuanjin. After all, concealing one's identity made things more convenient, as showing one's true appearance easily invited trouble. Not just him, many cultivators present had disguised themselves. Chuanjin, if you wish, you could later join Miaofeng and the others. Lu Chongsheng transmitted a message to his son Lu Chuanjin at his side. He had previously learned about the Purple Shadow Secret Realm from Qingzhou Mountain. Everyone entering it would appear randomly within the realm, but they could meet up immediately using transmission talismans, yin-yang sensing talismans, and other such items. Thus, at this moment, one could see many loose cultivators and family juniors recognizing each other and forming groups. After all, besides seeking opportunities, the Purple Shadow Secret Realm also served as a trial site for the disciples of immortal sex. Disciples of immortal sex may not be bloodthirsty, but who could say in such situations, one must prepare for the worst. Lu Chuanjin, dressed in black robes with a scholar-like demeanor, nodded in agreement. The 2 of them rested on the spot, waiting for the 4 great immortal sects to open the secret realm. As time passed, more and more Foundation establishment cultivators with their disciples and successors arrived. At that time, Lu Chongsheng saw an elderly man with a majestic appearance stepping down from a golden spirit boat with 6 energy refining cultivators. Golden Dragon Ridge. Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly as he saw the newcomers. He then said to his son beside him, Chuanjin, if you encounter people from Golden Dragon Ridge in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, join up with Qingshan and slaughter them all. Despite the Jin family patriarch coming forward to apologize and make amends, it was purely to save face. Moreover, they had been suppressing the business interests of White Tiger Mountain openly and secretly over the past year. Faced with this situation, he could not do much directly, but with such an opportunity, naturally, he would not be polite. Of course, the main reason was his confidence in his son's abilities. Even if Lu Qingshan was not there, Lu Chongsheng was quite reassured about Lu Quanzhen's situation. Second-rank puppet, a full set of top-tier magical artifacts, talisman treasure bronze goo, a pile of second-rank talismans. In such a situation, how could a few energy refining cultivators be his match? Even Foundation establishment cultivators would get a headache encountering Lu Chuanjin. Lu Chuanjin was somewhat surprised by his father's words, but he merely smiled and squinted his eyes, glanced at the people from Golden Dragon Ridge, and responded softly, Father, rest assured. Time passed bit by bit. As more and more people gathered, Lu Chongsheng learned that many Family Forces Foundation establishment cultivators came to buy resources, heavenly and earthly treasures. After loose cultivators exited the secret realm, they would conduct transactions. Because the 4 great immortal sects only collected some rare resources. The remaining resources, which most loose cultivators didn't need, were directly traded here. Or they would use resources to hire someone to escort them to the marketplace. CTH Nafire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Never thought this purple shadow secret realm would have so many ins and outs. Lu Chongqing clicked his tongue in realization, now understanding why many family forces openly came. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 945. Pingon. How did you come here? Because the family had a good reputation, people were willing to trust them even if their purchase prices were cheaper by a few percentages. However, he was now disguised, which made it inappropriate to engage in purchasing activities. Just then, Lu Chongqing suddenly opened his eyes as if he sensed something. He saw a tall, burly, dust-covered man looking like a wanderer of the rivers and lakes who had found a spot to sit down in the distance. Lu Chongqing instantly sensed a familiar aura from the person. Pingon. Lu Chongqing swept his divine sense and immediately saw through the disguise. Isn't Pingon supposed to be traveling? Why has he come to the purple shadow secret realm? A trace of surprise appeared in his eyes as he transmitted his voice. Lu Pingon. Come here. Ah! Lu Pingon, upon hearing this, was startled and looked around in confusion. He didn't return home this trip, knowing that if his father knew he was aiming for the purple shadow secret realm, he would likely disagree. So he decided on his own to come here secretly. Unexpectedly, he had just arrived at Ziyun Gorge when he heard his father's voice. He looked around but did not see his father, Lu Chongqing. Moments later, he saw a man in his 30s, with a dignified appearance and a profound aura, wearing a dark robe, walking toward him accompanied by a scholarly young man in a black robe. You are, father? Lu Pingon asked, somewhat unsure. The man in the dark robe looked nothing like his father as he usually appeared. Indeed, Lu Chongqing answered, nodding slightly. His current disguise tactic wasn't as simple as his early years' disguises. Not only was he using a fate-defying robe to mask and contain his aura, but he also wore a specialized disguise mask. Unless a nascent soul immortal used divine sense to investigate, it would be hard to discern his real face. Lu Chuanjin was also disguising his appearance and aura. Pingon, why are you here? Lu Chongqing brought his son to the side and asked. I heard that the purple shadow secret realm was opening, so I thought I'd come to check it out. Maybe I could find something? Lu Pingon scratched his head, looking somewhat sheepish. As if worried his father might misunderstand, he hastily explained, Father, I'm not overestimating myself. I had some fortuitous encounters before, and I've reached the 5th level of the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art, so I dared to come here. 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art's 5th level? Lu Chuanjin next to him narrowed his eyes in surprise. In his younger years, Lu Chongqing had taught him the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art. However, he didn't excel in it and eventually abandoned this cultivation technique. Unexpectedly, his elder brother had advanced this technique to the 5th level, which meant his physical body was comparable to a spiritual artifact. Since you are already here, would I blame you? Lu Chongqing said to his son, sounding a bit irritable. Thank you, father. Lu Pingon immediately relaxed and nodded. It was usually fine dealing with Lu Chongqing, but in his current disguised form, with an inherent authority that commanded respect, it genuinely made him nervous. Father, why are you here? Lu Pingon continued, looking at Lu Chuanjin, eager to know who this was. Xia the Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I came to bring Chuanjin here, Lu Chongqing answered. Big brother. Lu Chuanjin called out with a smile, his demeanor gentle and scholarly. You're Chuanjin? Lu Pingon looked at Lu Chuanjin, surprised. Then he said, Father, isn't the purple shadow secret realm quite dangerous? Chuanjin coming here. He did not know much about Lu Quanzhen's situation, only that this younger brother's cultivation level wouldn't be much higher than his own. Chuanjin too has had some opportunities. He is now at the 9th level of energy refinement. When you both enter the secret realm, you can contact each other through your identity jades and look after each other. Lu Chongqing instructed. Energy refinement 9th level. Lu Pingon looked surprised, not expecting his younger brother to have reached the 9th level of energy refinement. However, considering he himself had encounters, it was quite normal for his siblings to have some fortuitous adventures. Rest assured, father. You have any preparations for entering the secret realm? Lu Chongqing asked. I did inquire about the Purple Shadow secret realm and learned some information about it. Lu Pingon said somewhat awkwardly. Sigh. Lu Chongqing shook his head helplessly. He then took them to a secluded spot and took out a stack of talismans and a couple of bottles from his storage ring to give to his son. In the past, he would have carried a plethora of magical artifacts and heavenly and earthly treasures on him. But now, with a family to care for, the previously acquired magical artifacts and treasures were all placed in the treasure pavilion at home for the family to manage. Therefore, he only had elixir medicines and talismans, with no spare magical artifacts. Otherwise, he would have equipped his son with a complete set of magical artifacts. Thank you, father. Lu Pingan's heart warmed as he thanked his father. Big brother, do you need any magical artifacts? See if there's anything you could use? At this moment, Lu Chuanjin took out several top-tier magical artifacts and asked. These artifacts had been prepared by Lu Chongqing for him, complete for offense, defense, escape, and support. No need, I have magical artifacts. Lu Pingon quickly waved his hands, feeling awkward about taking his younger brother's artifacts. Big brother, I have a robe, and I won't be using this spiritual armor. Take it. Lu Chuanjin, knowing his elder brother practiced body cultivation, handed Lu Pingon a piece of spiritual armor. Since Chuanjin is offering it so kindly, then accept it. Be extra cautious on this trip into the secret realm. Lu Chongqing, pleased to see his sons getting along well, said with contentment. He then informed Lu Pingon about some points to be wary of in the Purple Shadow secret realm. Although Lu Pingon mentioned he understood the realm's situation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 946. Pingon, how did you come here? But he knew without thinking that most of it was just baseless gossip spread by loose cultivators, with truth and falsehoods intermingled. It was better not to believe in them at all. After Lu Chongqing had finished speaking, he continued to instruct, by the way, if you see any rare spiritual medicine, like heavenly spirit fruits, just uproot them completely, and later put them into Quanzhen's spirit plant bag. This trip to the Purple Shadow secret realm, he naturally thought of the heavenly spirit fruits that were abundant within. Though the heavenly spirit fruit was only a second-rank spirit fruit, aside from in the Purple Shadow secret realm, it was practically impossible to grow elsewhere. But for such a situation, Lu Chongqing thought of his little green bottle. He believed that he could try to cultivate heavenly spirit fruits using the Myriad Spirits bottle. If he could successfully grow and harvest them, his family wouldn't need to worry about Foundation establishment elixirs in the future. All right, father. Lu Pingon nodded his head. His main purpose before was the heavenly spirit fruits. He now firmly committed these words to memory. Encountering any rare spirit flowers or spirit grasses, he would uproot them all. By the way, what's going on with you having broken through to the 5th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art? At this time, Lu Chongqing became concerned about his son's second-order body refining. At the time he found out that Lu Pingon had a body refinement breakthrough, he was flabbergasted for quite a while. Lu Pingon scratched his head and shared his experience. He mentioned that he previously encountered an ambush and coincidentally, an ironback centipede and a vermilion toad entered his body. At that time, he was almost unconscious, about to pass out. Sarch * the Novelier, an ET website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But the light had appeared before and the 100 Refinements treasure body art had run automatically, refining the magical treasures and both poisons inside his body, so he broke through the 5th layer. As for the matter with Su Juer, because he had previously promised her and sworn an oath that bound his heart demon, he didn't mention it too much. Be more careful in the future. Lu Chongqing patted his son's shoulder and said solemnly. The The process might sound simple, but he could hear the danger in it, because he knew that the Hope Goo worked only when encountering a hopeless situation. This indicated that, at that time, Lu Pingon was actually on the verge of death. "Father, I understand." Lu Pingon nodded again and again. He himself was quite frightened after the fact. After explaining everything, the trio returned to the area around the altar. The presence of a false core immortal. Just as they sat down, Lu Chongqing sensed a dominant aura coming from the south. Soon after, a white jade tower ship with intricately carved beams and lavish decorations approached from the sky. At the forefront of the ship's deck stood a long-haired woman, enchanting in appearance, exuding charm in every gesture. She wore a light pink sheer palace dress, which made her graceful figure distinctly visible, especially her pair of snow-white beautiful legs, lightly covered by the sheer dress, revealed their shape, yet added a hazy temptation. It's Huan Yin sect. It seems to be the bewitching melody real person from Huan Yin sect. People immediately loudly exclaimed and observed the magnificent ship. The false core immortal from Huan Yin sect? Lu Chongqing glanced a few times but did not look anymore. Though this false core immortal was overflowing with allure, capturing the unwavering attention of many who wanted to look but dared not stare. To Lu Chongqing, she was quite ordinary. The reason was simple. A dignified false core immortal actually had an air of vulgarity about her. This behavior, however, seemed to surprise Lu Chuanjin, who was next to him. After all, his father was famously fond of women. And as one of Jiang country's top family forces, Huan Yin sect was known for its female cultivators, music mastery, dance, bewitching technique, and beauty. The fact that his own father showed so little interest in Huan Yin sect was unusual. Seeing the dust-covered figures on the deck of the ship, he also showed disdain. The Huan Yin sect's ship did not descend but hovered silently in midair, waiting for the secret realm to open. Such behavior was extremely disrespectful to the cultivators below, akin to trampling on their heads. Yet, none of the cultivators present dared to say anything. After all, the Huan Yin sect possessed nascent soul-level strength, with a false core immortal leading the group. Not long after the Huan Yin sect arrived, another sect from the duo of sects and trio of cities and great clans, Danxia Mountain, made its appearance. It was a sect that specialized in alchemy. The famous Elixir Cauldron Pavilion was a business under Danxia Mountain. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Suddenly, clouds churned in the distance, and thunder roared, followed by a massive commotion. A divine vessel, pulled by 9 nine-headed wind thunder steeds, cut through the air and approached. All of the second-order monster beasts soared across the sky amidst clouds and thunder, their imposing manner stunning. On the divine vessel flew a flag with the dancing character Su. Beast Taming Su family. What a grand display, using 9 second-order monster beasts to pull the chariot. Which ancestor of the Su family has come in person? Many cultivators whispered upon seeing this, their eyes filled with apprehension and respect. After all, as one of Jiang country's 3 great clans, the beast-taming Su family had deep roots and a far-reaching reputation. Beast-taming Su family. Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly as he saw this display. He remembered Su Rian mentioning that the beast-taming Su family had taken notice of him. However, the person leading the group on the divine vessel did not seem to be the 3rd ancestor of the Su family mentioned by Su Rian. As these nascent soul-level forces hovered in the air, conversing across the distance, each seemed more grandiose than the last, inspiring awe and envy in the cultivators below. After all, most people cultivated not only for longevity but also to someday ascend to such levels of lofty eminence. No wonder the presence of a nascent soul immortal signifies a top-tier force. At this moment, Lu Chongqing truly understood why a clan or power with a nascent soul immortal at its helm was considered top-tier. Without a nascent soul immortal, such a family power could hardly accumulate any heritage. Just like White Tiger Mountain, despite its lineage reportedly spanning 1,000 years, its foundations were quite limited. Once faced with risk or crisis, it could be destroyed at any time. Like Huan Yin sect, Danxia Mountain, and beast-taming Su family, these powers, could at the very least sustain several false core immortals to stabilize the situation, waiting for the birth of a new nascent soul immortal. As the opening of the secret realm approached, Qingyun sect, Wuxia sect, and Spirit Taming sect arrived almost on time. All three sects were led by nascent soul immortals. Apart from the Spirit Taming sect, which rode a formidable quasi-third order golden sculptor spirit beast, Qingyun sect and Wuxia sect respectively traveled in giant ships and magical towers, seeming much more unpretentious. However, despite the ordinary displays of these two great immortal sects, none in the field dared to underestimate them. As the time for the secret realm's opening drew near, the nascent soul-level sovereign of Jiang country, the Heavenly Sword sect, arrived fashionably late. The sect's flying magical treasure was simple: a gigantic flying sword that tore through the sky with tremendous spiritual pressure. Standing on the flying sword were about 30 Qi refinement disciples, all clad in white sword attire, carrying magical swords on their backs, their expressions stoic, radiating sharpness. Leading them was a stern-looking teenager of about 15 or 16, dressed in a plain white robe and with ordinary features. If not for the immense spiritual pressure emanating from his body and the boundless sharp aura, it would be hard to tell he was a nascent soul immortal. Heavenly Sword Sect, Yujin Zhenren. All cultivators of Ziyun Gorge gazed at the arrival from the Heavenly Sword Sect, their faces showing a respect. The several nascent soul-level powers that had arrived earlier all stepped forward to greet them. Ha! Lu Pingon looked at the newcomers from the Heavenly Sword Sect, and when he saw a slender figure on the flying sword, his expression suddenly froze. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 947. First Love, Lu family's F3 attacks. Qin. Lu Pingon hadn't expected to run into Qin here. Seeing her successfully join the Heavenly Sword Sect and become one of its disciples, he felt genuinely happy for her. After all, from their early conversations, he knew it was her dream to join the Heavenly Sword Sect and become a sword immortal. Lu Chongsheng, noticing his son's sudden change of expression, immediately looked towards the huge flying sword of the Heavenly Sword Sect. The disciples standing on the flying sword were both men and women, most of them quite young, in their 20s or 30s. Pingon, do you know someone from the Heavenly Sword Sect? Lu Chongsheng looked at several female disciples, asking aloud. Lu Pingon hesitated for a moment before retracting his gaze and calming his emotions, saying, "Yes, an old acquaintance from the past." A woman. Lu Chongsheng raised an eyebrow, continuing his inquiry. Lu Pingan's face showed surprise, momentarily at a loss for words, but under his father's gaze, he eventually nodded his head. The same young girl you met during your travels years ago? Lu Changsheng's face suddenly showed a hint of playfulness. He thought to himself that, after so many years, his son still remembered that young girl. Indeed, first love is hard to forget. Without experiencing 3 or 5 romances, this first love is not easily forgotten. He figured it would keep fermenting in his heart, becoming ever more idealized and unforgettable. Lu Chuanjin, by his side, showed a hint of gossip upon hearing this. He had interacted with Lu Pingon numerous times. Thus, he understood a bit about his older brother's character, knowing him to be very diligent and upright. Now, it seemed he was also a man of deep feelings. Though he had no experience with love, having such a father, he always found it odd that their family would produce such a devoted and passionate individual. Under these teasing gazes, Lu Pingon nodded with a somewhat heavy heart. Which one? Point her out to your father. Lu Chongsheng, as a father, immediately took interest in his son's romantic affairs. The novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. That might not be appropriate, Lu Pingon said with some embarrassment. It had already been more than 10 years since they last met, and back then, neither had expressed their feelings. Now, the way his father was acting made him feel awkward. What's there to be embarrassed about? Your father just wants to take a glance, not immediately ask for your hand, Lu Chongqing said. Seeing his son act so coy, he slapped him lightly on the head. At such an age, and yet so little progress in matters of the heart. Under his father's pressure, Lu Pingon reluctantly pointed out Qin Yi. So, Pingon, you like this type? Lu Chongqing looked at a female disciple standing on the enormous flying sword. A woman around 25 or 26 with slender eyes, ruddy lips, a straight nose, wearing the robe of the heavenly sword sect and with a high ponytail, radiating a heroic spirit. Lu Pingon remained silent. Though he was somewhat happy to see Qin Yi, he didn't want to reunite. Years of cultivation had taught him that the issue of his spiritual root was of great importance. If Qin Yi were to learn that he had stepped onto the immortal path, it could bring trouble to his family. If you like her, pursue her boldly, Lu Chongqing said as he patted his son's shoulder. However, seeing his son's somewhat somber and silent demeanor, he paused and guessed his son's thoughts. Back then, Lu Pingon felt he was a mere mortal and immortals were different, so he didn't want to hold her back. Now that Lu Pingon had embarked on the immortal path, the matter of the spiritual root was ultimately significant. If it were known, it might cause trouble. Sigh. Lu Chongqing sighed in his heart. His son was very responsible, which caused him to overthink many things. He thought that maybe when they returned home, he should ask his wife, Lu Miaoyun, to find a few women with similar charm and temperament for his son to meet, in hopes to help him move past these feelings. Sometimes you can be bolder. Lu Chongqing stopped teasing his son and spoke seriously. Then, turning to Lu Chuanjin beside him, he said, Chuanjin, if you meet someone you like, remember to be bold. Your mother has been nagging you about this recently. I understand. Lu Chuanjin hadn't expected the conversation to turn to him and replied helplessly. Qing Shan, how come you're not here yet? At that moment, Lu Chongqing, seeing that all 4 great immortal sects had arrived, indicating that the secret realm would soon open, wondered why Tianyuan True Immortal hadn't yet brought Lu Qingshan. Concerning this, he could only think that Tianyuan True Immortal lived up to his stereotype of being unreliable. However, just as he had this thought, he saw a divine rainbow shooting down from the clouds above, carrying an astonishing momentum that made everyone look up. Is that a nascent soul immortal? If all 4 great immortal sects are already here, why is a nascent soul immortal coming? A cultivator exclaimed upon seeing the divine rainbow. Besides for events like the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, nascent soul immortals rarely appeared in public. To suddenly have 5 nascent soul immortals appear today was extremely rare. The divine rainbow was fleeting and soon settled in midair. Once the brilliant light dispersed, a giant gourd appeared before everyone's eyes. Standing atop it was a stunning woman in her 30s, wearing a lavish scarlet gown, and sitting beside her was a young man in his 20s with star-like eyes and sword-like eyebrows, dressed in white and gold. The woman was none other than Tianyuan True Immortal. Unlike her usual casual demeanor, today her hair was neatly tied up, her gown tidy, and her entire demeanor exuded a noble and majestic aura as she said to the Yujin Zhenren of the Heavenly Sword Sect, Yujin Zhenren, I trust you've been well. Tianyuan True Immortal, what brings you here? Yujin Zhenren, with a stern face, looked at Tianyuan True Immortal. I was just passing by. Hearing about the opening of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, I thought to send my disciple here for some experience. Tianyuan True Immortal said, with lightly parted, red lips. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 948. First Love. Lu family's F3 takes action. As the words were spoken, the 4 nascent soul immortals and the disciples of the 4 great immortal sects present all turned their attention to Lu Qingshan. Faced with such scrutiny, an ordinary person would have felt like they were being pricked by thorns, their complexion turning pale and showing an ugly demeanor. But Lu Qingshan stood up with a calmness that was unparalleled. An invisible pressure allowed the aura that had merged into his blood and bones from sword-charging bulls might to slowly rise, giving Lu Qingshan an indescribable power that surged within. He stood with a straight back, and it seemed as though there was a sharp sword inside his body, capable of piercing the heavens and swallowing the stars. It gave off a sense of fearlessness, lawlessness, and a firm belief that he could overcome all, both in spirit and in momentum. Just this spirit and momentum alone made all the disciples of the four great immortal sects reveal a look of solemn respect on their faces, especially the disciples of the Heavenly Sword sect. As sword cultivators, they felt an unstoppable, domineering sword intent from Lu Qingshan. Immediately, several disciples of the Heavenly Sword sect looked at Lu Qingshan full of fighting spirit, wanting to spar with him in a match. What a sword Dao seedling! Yujin Zhenren praised, gazing at Lu Qingshan, who stood upright like a sword atop the gourd. As a nascent soul immortal from the Heavenly Sword sect, he had seen many talented sword Dao geniuses. But people like Lu Qingshan could be counted on one hand in hundreds of years. "What's your name?" Yujin Zhenren asked. Ordinarily, let alone an energy-refining cultivator, even a foundation establishment cultivator would not be worthy of him personally asking their name. But he took a liking to a sword cultivator like Lu Qingshan. He believed that as long as the other did not die prematurely, he would certainly become renowned in the cultivation world. Sir, the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Qingshan. I've seen the true immortal. Lu Qingshan spoke neither humbly nor arrogantly, giving a cupped fist salute. Good, Lu Qingshan. I shall remember you. You may come to our Heavenly Sword sect to challenge us in the future. Yujin Zhenren nodded and said so, tossing an identity token to Lu Qingshan. A challenge among sword cultivators was their way of sparring. As the representatives of the martial cultivator faction, sword cultivators were always known for their powerful combat abilities and combative fighting techniques. Moreover, fighting technique, apart from cultivation, also needed to be built up through battle after battle. Thus, many sword cultivators, after reaching a certain stage in their cultivation, would travel far and wide to challenge others, to refine their sword heart and sword intent. Many thanks, true immortal. Lu Qingshan graciously caught the token, replying with a cupped fist salute. Tianyuan true immortal has taken a good disciple. A nascent soul immortal from the Wuxia sect voiced their admiration from the side. Jiang country and Yu country neighbored each other, and there were many interactions on regular days. Thus, the nascent soul immortals from the two countries, even if they hadn't met, generally recognized each other. More tempering is needed. Tianyuan true immortal's face showed a hint of a smile while saying so. She was willing to spend so much time running around because her disciple, Lu Qingshan, greatly satisfied her. After all, when she accepted Lu Qingshan as her disciple in the early years, it was simply because she valued his Gengjin body constitution and wished to continue the legacy. But now, as Lu Qingshan increasingly demonstrated astonishing talent, she began to truly cultivate him as her personal disciple. As the four true immortals conversed, several powers led by false core cultivators also looked towards Tianyuan true immortal, sizing up Lu Qingshan. They knew that in this trip to the Purple Shadow secret realm, another formidable opponent would be added. As for the cultivators below, they only looked up into the sky from afar, not knowing what was going on. Qingshan. Among the crowd, Lu Miaofeng and others recognized Lu Qingshan. But at this moment, for them, Lu Qingshan could only be looked up to. They weren't even qualified to have a face-to-face conversation. However, seeing Lu Qingshan standing high above them, they also felt a sense of pride and shared glory. Indeed, the big shots all have to step on something. Lu Chongqing sighed upon seeing this scene. He then turned to Lu Pingon beside him and said, "The one above is your younger brother Lu Qingshan. After you enter the secret realm, you can contact Qingshan through your identity token." On Lu Qingshan's return this time, he naturally made identity tokens for Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu. Through the token, the Lu family disciples could sense each other, communicate, ask for help, confirm identities, and more. Ah, younger brother Lu Qingshan? Lu Pingon was taken aback upon hearing this. When Lu Qingshan was born, he was already living a secular life. And by the time he came to Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Qingshan had been accepted as a disciple by Tianyuan True Immortal. Therefore, he had never seen his younger brother, Lu Qingshan. Leaving aside Lu Qingshan, of the more than 200 siblings in his family, he was somewhat blind and couldn't recognize them. So, when walking around by Lake Mountain, as long as someone called him brother, he would just treat them as his siblings. Dad, what's this situation with brother Qingshan? Confusion was written all over Lu Pingan's face as he looked up at Lu Qingshan in the sky. He was unaware of why his brother had such a grand scene, and there were even nascent souls seeing him off. He was previously taken in as a disciple by a true immortal of Yu country's Jinyang sect, and this time he just happened to come to the Purple Shadow secret realm for the trial, explained Lu Chongsheng. This is his master, Tianyuan True Immortal. Ah, I see. Lu Pingan looked at Lu Qingshan and nodded. He had just learned that he had such an outstanding younger brother. However, when he thought about his father's divine skills, it seemed normal for the family to have several strong siblings. Still, when he looked up at Lu Qingshan and then at Lu Chuanjin, who had reached the 9th level of energy refinement, he felt a certain pressure in his heart. It wasn't out of a desire to compete. As the eldest brother, he felt that even if he was to fall behind, he couldn't afford to fall behind too much. After the immortals in the sky had chatted enough, or when the time to open the secret realm arrived, the nascent soul immortals leading the 4 great immortal sects, headed by the Heavenly Sword sect, came forward to the purple altar in the center, each holding a purple gold token. Mana of the nascent soul level was poured into the tokens. Buzz, buzz, buzz. On the altar, purple light emerged, interweaving enigmatic and unpredictable runes, glittering ceaselessly like stars. All the runes interwove, gradually forming a pentagram formation map, making the earth tremble. Then, several massive pillars of light soared into the sky, tens of meters in height, awe-inspiring, turning heaven and earth into a shade of purple and green. While countless people were terrified, feeling the air getting heavier, a huge void portal slowly appeared above the altar. The portal, like a black hole vortex, was unclear inside. Yet, it emanated an ancient and vicissitudinous air, seemingly from another world, out of place here. So this is the secret realm. Lu Chongsheng was shaken as he stared at the portal in front of him. This was his first time seeing a secret realm. According to ancient records, most secret realms in the cultivation world were handed down from antiquity, opened by great spiritual adepts. But for some reason, they reappeared in the world and could be accessed through certain methods, entering the secret realm. Secret realms could vary widely, some being desolate, with even the risk of spatial collapse at any moment. The Purple Shadow secret realm in front of them belonged to the rare kind that contained great opportunities. However, only energy-refining cultivators could enter. If Foundation Establishment cultivators attempted to enter, it would destabilize the secret realm and result in their expulsion. Not just Lu Chongsheng, many others were also shaken at the sight. The Purple Shadow secret realm will last for 1 month. All may enter the secret realm, but must follow these rules. Yujin Zhenren of the Heavenly Sword sect's calm and indifferent voice spread throughout the valley. A huge yellow list appeared in the air, its golden characters delineating the rules of the Purple Shadow secret realm. All cultivators entering the secret realm must surrender half of their findings afterward. Various heavenly and earthly treasures appeared, indicating that these could only be traded with the 4 great immortal sects. You were only allowed to take them with you if you acquired multiple rare heaven and earth spiritual materials. We will strictly obey the immortal's decree. The cultivators in the field responded in unison. The rules of the Purple Shadow secret realm were well known to everyone. And even if they weren't, there was no room for dissent. Then, the cultivators from the Heavenly Sword sect, Qingyun sect, Wuxia sect, and Spirit Taming sect successively entered the portal. Shortly after, several Jedon forces and false core level forces followed. At this time, Lu Qingshan entered the secret realm on his sword. "Father, we're going." After most had entered, Lu Pingan and Lu Chuanjin addressed Lu Chongsheng. "Be very careful," Lu Chongsheng advised. "Father, rest assured, The two nodded, then directly entered the portal. Phew! Lu Chongxing watched his sons Lu Pingon and Lu Chuanjin enter the secret realm, taking a deep breath, his heart feeling somewhat heavy. Even though he had confidence in his sons, it was their first time, and he couldn't completely stay detached. Swish, swish, swish. About half an hour later, nearly 90% of the 1,000 energy refining cultivators had entered the secret realm. The once teeming hillside was suddenly empty. Only a few foundation establishment cultivators remained, along with some large boats, ships, and treasure pavilions floating in the air. 1 month. Lu Chongxing looked around, exhaled softly, and sat down cross-legged to rest and rejuvenate, waiting for his sons to emerge from the secret realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 949. Three brothers explore the secret realm. Lu Pingon and Lu Chuanjin entered the portal and immediately felt the world spinning around them. Every direction turned into void, pitch black, unable to use any mana at all. The legend says that entering the Purple Shadow secret realm feels similar to the long-lost teleportation array, and indeed it does. Lu Chuanjin muttered to himself, trying to make out his surroundings. But darkness enveloped him on all sides, endless and colorless. Had he not been forewarned, encountering such a situation suddenly would have sent shivers down his spine. After a moment, he felt a bit sore all over and dizzily opened his eyes. So this is the Purple Shadow secret realm. Lu Chuanjin rubbed his temples and surveyed the area. He found himself in a forest dense with spiritual energy, mist swirling around. Most striking was the purple gloom covering the sky dome. After ensuring he was in a safe area, he gently tapped his storage bag, setting up a simple formation to regulate his condition. Although the teleportation hadn't affected him much, since he was now in the secret realm, it was natural to maintain the best condition at all times. After all, with so many cultivators entering the Purple Shadow secret realm, conflicts and killings were inevitable. And the acquisition from the realm, amounting to 50%, was to be handed over to the 4 great immortal sects. This included spiritual herbs and medicines, and heaven and earth spiritual material tainted with the essence of the realm. Assets pilfered from other cultivators, such as money, magic artifacts, and spiritual objects, were not included. Thus, most people in the Purple Shadow secret realm died not at the hands of demon beasts, but at the hands of other cultivators. At that moment, Lu Chuanjin felt something and pulled out his family token from the storage bag. It indicated someone was within the range of the token's sensing. He immediately knew it was his elder brother, Lu Pingon. After all, without even thinking, he knew his younger brother Lu Qingshan wouldn't likely seek him out immediately upon entering. The two had agreed that after entering the realm, they would see about meeting up in the central area, treating the outer zone like a trial area. Lu Chuanjin infused spiritual power into the token, responding to Lu Pingon. This elder brother, with a steady nature, was not overly competitive and wouldn't be a hindrance. Moreover, being a practitioner of second-order body refining, he was reliable and provided an additional layer of security. As spiritual power was infused, the two identity tokens gradually formed an invisible connection, sensing each other remotely. They could discern each other's rough location through the tokens. After recuperating for a long time, Lu Quanzhen's condition fully recovered, and he lightly lifted his hand to retract the formation flags, starting to explore the secret realm. He chose not to fly with his artifact, nor did he hasten on his way. Instead, he carefully headed towards the direction of Lu Pingon. After all, the secret realm was dangerous, and flying recklessly was like making oneself a live target. Moreover, the realm was filled with opportunities that needed to be slowly explored. After walking several miles, Lu Chuanjin spotted over a dozen light sai and colored fruits, the size of a thumb, growing on rocks in the distance. Stone cyan fruit. Lu Chuanjin immediately recognized what they were. However, by their color, these spiritual medicines were not quite ripe yet. But having encountered them, who cared if they were fully matured? especially since he had prepared a spirit plant bag in advance, allowing him to maintain some vitality of the spirit plants, which he could then transplant back home. Slapping his storage bag, a low-grade puppet appeared. He then operated the puppet to go and pluck all 13 stone cyan fruits clean. After completing the task, he continued moving cautiously. So soon there is slaughter. After a long walk, Lu Chuanjin suddenly smelt blood and abruptly halted, casting an invisibility technique. Carefully peering in the direction, he immediately spotted 2 corpses beside a dark pool. One decapitated, another stabbed through the heart. Search * the novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They lay on the ground as if mutually annihilated, with a strong stench of blood permeating the air. In the calm center of the adjacent dark pool, there was also a palm-sized white lotus, glimmering with a blue luster. Mutual destruction? Water cloud lotus. Lu Quanzhen's eyes narrowed, filled with caution. After observing for a moment and seeing no movement, he tentatively sent a low-grade puppet out to approach the 2 bodies. However, just as the puppet approached the bodies to retrieve a storage bag, whizzing, from the dark pool, silver needles shot towards Lu Chuanjin. Clang, clang, clang. Lu Chuanjin was well prepared, forming swirling vortexes of 5 colors around him, and a small dark shield appeared, blocking all the silver needles. Then, with a sudden slap of his hand, a 5-colored torrent blasted towards the dark pool. Boom! The dark pool erupted with a loud noise, sending unknown amounts of water flying into the air. Suddenly, a beautiful girl in a light yellow dress emerged from the pool, coldly saying to Lu Chuanjin, "You've got some skill. Now scram." She was here fishing, and seeing that Lu Chuanjin was quite strong and cautious, she didn't want to waste time and energy. Wuxia sect disciple. Lu Quanzhen's eyes slightly narrowed, showing no sign of backing down. He had always wanted to gauge the gap between himself and a disciple of the Immortal sects. His previous sparring with Lu Qingshan was mere practice and didn't reveal much. Now encountering a Wuxia sect disciple, he naturally wouldn't miss the chance to test his skills. Courting death. Seeing that Lu Chuanjin showed no intention of leaving, instead looking at her as if she were prey, the girl's face flushed with anger, and she slapped her pale palm. Whizzing! In an instant, countless silver needles shot towards Lu Chuanjin, densely packed and nearly impossible to defend against. The ground, where a corpse with a heart-pierced chest was, also buzzed as the sharp cones spun madly, rushing towards Lu Chuanjin like a frenzied drill. 5 elements Kuanping technique. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 950. 3 brothers explore the secret realm. Lu Chuanjin formed a gesture incantation with both hands, and suddenly, a 5-colored fish appeared from the depths of the black pool, darting towards the girl in the yellow dress. Not good. The girl hadn't expected that Lu Quanzhen's previous attack still held a hidden maneuver. She immediately formed a protective aura around her body. But in an instant, the 5-colored fish shattered the protective aura piece by piece, frightening the girl into abandoning her offensive and urgently driving her defensive magic artifact. Clang, clang, clang. A purple shield orbited around Lu Quanzhen's body, forming a purple-colored shield that enveloped him completely. With both hands performing a gesture incantation, he fiercely unleashed a 5-colored torrent, sweeping grandly through the air. Boom! Struck by this onslaught, the girl was sent flying backwards explosively. However, as a disciple of the Wuxia sect, she was evidently not weak and was not defeated just like that, though her face looked rather embarrassed. Who are you, for an independent cultivator to possess such strength? The coldness in the girl's eyes was evident as she spoke. Though it was true that a few formidable figures occasionally emerged among independent cultivators, like the Qing Luan Immortal, the #1 independent cultivator in Jiang country. But such instances were rare. In nearly 1,000 years, there had only been one Qing Luan Immortal, 99% of independent cultivators had strength far inferior to the disciples of the immortal sex. Seeing that Lu Chuanjin did not speak, she produced a small yellow mirror in her palm. The mirror radiated a golden light towards Lu Chuanjin, while the previously used silver needles and sharp spikes continued their assault towards him. But just in that moment, Puchi, a dazzling 5-colored fish, directly penetrated the girl's protective aura, piercing her heart with the speed of lightning. Erg! The girl's body shook violently, her eyes filled with disbelief as she stared at her own chest. She could only feel a surging, overwhelming force shredding her internal organs as blood gushed out. How could this be? Her gaze fixed on Lu Chuanjin, but before she could finish her words, her body heavily collapsed to the ground. Bright red blood pooled around her, her beautiful eyes wide open in death. So this is a disciple of the immortal sex. Lu Chuanjin looked at the deceased girl with a calm and indifferent expression. If this was all that an immortal sex disciple amounted to, then it truly was too uninteresting. Confirming that she was dead, Lu Chuanjin stepped forward and burnt all 3 corpses to ashes, then briefly dealt with the storage bags. For example, he tossed their sect tokens, magical robes, and so on into the black pool. Though entering the secret realm implies taking responsibility for one's own life and death, everyone knew to avoid getting entangled with disciples of the immortal sex or major clans to avert trouble. After finishing, he plucked the water cloud lotus from the black pool, stored it in the spirit plant bag, and continued towards the direction of Lu Pingon. In a dense forest. No wonder it's called the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Spiritual medicines can be found everywhere. Lu Pingon uprooted a spirit plant, placing it into his storage bag with a face full of joy. Though he had never lived in poverty, he was well aware of the hardships at the base of the cultivation world, where spirit stones were hard to earn. His family managed to maintain a balanced expenditure solely because of his father's support. Thus, seeing so many spiritual medicines on this trip, and reaping spiritual medicines worth several hundred spirit stones in a short time, his heart was overjoyed. He felt that going forward like this, he could gather tens of thousands of spirit stones from this trip to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Although in the end, he had to hand over 50% to the 4 great immortal sects, he was satisfied to keep the other half. Lu Pingon continued towards Lu Quanzhen's direction. Though he wished to reunite with his younger brother soon, he knew the dangers of the realm and that he shouldn't be reckless or impatient. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Lu Pingon had initially felt that he was quite lucky, stumbling upon spiritual medicines as he walked. But now, having gained nothing for so long, his mood was rather depressed. Just then, suddenly, a roaring bellow of a demon beast came from the side. This sound immediately caught Lu Pingon's attention. Is there a battle going on, or? Lu Pingon knew that although there were not many demon beasts in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, wherever there were demon beasts, there were usually rare spiritual herbs. With this thought, Lu Pingon immediately headed towards the direction of the sound. Before long, he saw a golden giant bear chasing an old man and a young boy. The two did not confront the giant bear directly but skillfully entangled it, wearing it down. The old man, seeing Lu Pingon, immediately appeared alert through his slightly cloudy eyes. But seeing Lu Pingon's 7th-level energy refinement strength, he shouted, "Taoist, there are several 7-star grasses in this Vajra bear's cave. If you help us deal with it, we will share the spiritual medicines equally." While trust was rare among cultivators in the secret realm, many still grouped together for mutual benefit. Besides, with the grandfather and grandson, one at the 9th level and one at the 8th level, and Lu Pingon merely at the 7th level, in such a situation, they naturally did not fear how Lu Pingon might act. If Lu Pingon turned out to be wealthy, they could even possibly seize all his possessions. 7-star grass? CTH novel F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Hearing this, Lu Pingon's eyes immediately lit up. The 7-star grass was a main ingredient for the lifespan extension pill, extremely valuable. He immediately responded loudly, "Agreed, let's do it." With his words, he shot out like a cannonball towards the Vajra bear. "Taoist, The old man and the boy were stunned by Lu Pingan's actions, utterly bewildered. What was happening? Facing a demon beast, he was charging right towards it? Could it be that he intended to fight the demon beast in close combat? However, before they could finish their sentence, they saw Lu Pingan reaching the Vajra bear. With fists clenched, he leapt up, his right arm shimmering with a golden glow like a divine drum, breaking through layers of air, and solidly smashing into the Vajra bear's head. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 951. Bang! Under Lu Pingan's punch, the Vajra bear's skull burst open, and its sharp, pointed teeth shattered and flew. The enormous body that was 5 meters tall spun like a top and flew backwards, crashing to the ground and creating a huge pit. What's wrong? Only then did Lu Pingan turn his head to look towards the befuddled grandfather and grandson whose gazes were dull. It's nothing. The elderly man, still confused, swallowed hard and said awkwardly. He had just thought that, with Lu Pingan at the Chi Refinement 7th level, he could easily handle him by himself. But that punch had completely dumbfounded everyone. Having traveled the north and south for decades, he had never seen such a vicious person. At Chi Refinement 7th level, to punch a demon beast into flight and apparently incapacitate it. Grandpa, isn't this Vajra bear known for its immense strength and indestructible body? The young man next to him swallowed his saliva, his face somewhat pale as he asked his grandfather. Typically, the combat power of demon beasts was stronger than that of cultivators at the same level. They had decided to confront this Vajra bear solely because it guarded the 7-star grass. But never did they expect that the Vajra bear that they could only slowly wear down and struggle against would be blasted away by someone else with a single punch, leaving its life hanging by a thread, making them question their existence. This must be the young master of some family here for training. Be polite later. The elderly man, watching the scene unfold before him, advised his grandson in a low voice. Bang, bang, bang. In front, Lu Pingan reached the pit, his fists raining down on the Vajra bear like meteor showers. His punches, like landslides and tsunamis, were so powerful that the ground could hardly bear it, continually trembling and forming a crater with dust swirling around. Shortly after, Lu Pingan lifted the now-dead Vajra bear out of the pit. How do you want to divide this Vajra bear? Lu Pingan looked towards the elderly man and the youth and asked. Although he had killed the beast himself, since it was their prey and they had expended a lot of effort, he chose not to claim it all. We don't need it. The elderly man immediately shook his head. In this situation, how could they dare to split the spoils with him? If it angered him, just one punch could end both their journey in the secret realm. Fine. Upon hearing this, Lu Pingan nodded, not standing on ceremony, and took out his magical sword to dissect the Vajra bear. He collected the bear paws, bear gall, and bear blood, the more valuable materials, into his storage bag. After all, he couldn't fit the bear's large body entirely into his storage bag. Moreover, if the corpse of a dead demon beast isn't handled promptly, it can't be used later. Taoist, where is the 7-star grass? After finishing, Lu Pingan looked at the two and asked, It's just ahead. The elderly man and the young man very courteously led Lu Pingan to a cave filled with a foul stench. Inside the cave, there were 5 spirit grasses shimmering with specks of starlight. Indeed, 7-star grass, and there are 5 of them. Lu Pingan's face showed joy, but looking at the 5-star grasses, he was somewhat unsure how to divide them. Just as he was about to speak, the elderly man proactively said, Taoist, since you defeated the Vajra bear, how about you take 3 of the 7-star grass and we take 2? Are you two only taking 2? Lu Pingan frowned slightly. After all, they had discovered the 7-star grass, and all he did was defeat the Vajra bear. Taking the larger share seemed a bit embarrassing. It's fine, it's fine. If it weren't for you, we would not have been able to obtain the 7-star grass so easily. The elderly man, wearing a Taoist robe and showing a kindly face, said, I won't take advantage of you, I'll take 2. Lu Pingan wasn't naive. realizing that their fear was the reason for their offer. But in his view, he had already obtained part of the Vajra bear, so 2 7-star grasses were sufficient. Thank you, Taoist. You are alone. If convenient, we could accompany each other. Amazed inside, the elderly man thought that today he had met a good person. He immediately guessed that Lu Pingon must be a young master from a large family here for training. Only such family members could be so generous. Because ordinary loose cultivators, if characteristic of kindness and generosity, would have difficulty reaching the 9th level of qi refinement. He continued, "This old Taoist is not without skill. I know some techniques to inspect and find spiritual herbs and medicines." Lu Pingon glanced at the elder and the young man, pondered for a moment and nodded, "Okay. The elder is surnamed Kong. Just call me Old Taoist Kong. And this is my grandson, Little Kong." The elder's face showed delight as he immediately spoke out. "En Ping." Lu Pingon gave out his pseudonym. Old Taoist Kong thought for a moment and had not heard of any prominent and families in Jiang country. However, he did not care, for who would use their real name within the secret realm? Besides, other than the children of major families, who knows? There might be a successor from a hidden lineage. Soon afterward, the 3 of them divided the 7-star grass and traveled together. Like Old Taoist Kong and the young man who had no specific destination, their main goal was to find more spiritual herbs and medicines in the periphery. Thus, they slowly moved in the direction pointed out by Lu Pingon. Beside a mountain cliff. Boom, boom, boom. For men and women were hunting a massive tiger, its body ablaze with black flames. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, under the combined attack of the 4, the black tiger kept roaring with wounds all over. But the black flames enveloping its body rolled fiercely, presenting a terrifying power that kept the 4 from approaching. They could only suppress it with magic artifacts. Then, at that moment, Poochie, a sword light slashed down from above, directly decapitating the black tiger, blood splattering everywhere. "I'll take this spirit fruit." Lu Qingshan, dressed in a platinum brocade robe and holding a magical sword, stood in the air and spoke to the 4, who were astonished and caught off guard. The 4 looked at Lu Qingshan, wanting to say something but afraid to speak. Outside the secret realm, Lu Qingshan and a nascent soul immortal had arrived. They had all seen Lu Qingshan and knew he was not simple. Moreover, the sheer power displayed by Lu Qingshan's sword had left them all fearful, knowing they were no match for him. After speaking, Lu Qingshan did not wait for their agreement and stepped forward to take something. On the mountain cliff, a fruit radiating spiritual essence suddenly fell into his hand. After placing the fruit into the spirit plant bag, Lu Qingshan didn't even glance at the 4 and rode his sword away. "Humph, that's just too domineering," a woman muttered under her breath with a dissatisfied face. However, she only dared to mumble quietly and not make a fuss. After all, the sharp and soaring sword momentum from him had made her involuntarily palpitate. Seeing Lu Qingshan completely disappear, a middle-aged man next to her said with a bitter smile, "The cultivation world is just like this, survival of the fittest. It's already good that he didn't attack us. Although we subdued this spectral flame tiger, its strength was comparable to a 2nd rank, its body extraordinarily tough, yet it was pierced by his single sword. No wonder he was sent to the secret realm by a nascent soul immortal." The other 2 looked at the spectral flame tiger on the ground, their eyes filled with fear and trepidation. They then began discussing how to divide this spectral flame tiger. "This purple shadow secret realm is really boring. We should head to the central area sooner to find some gains." Lu Qingshan stood on his flying sword, glanced at the sky dome enveloped in purple shadow, and headed towards the core area of the secret realm. He knew the secret realm was divided into the periphery and the central area. The spiritual medicines and herbs in the periphery grew without any pattern and were limited in age. The center was different. The spiritual medicines and herbs there were precious and rare, and a few dangerous places almost always contained rare spiritual medicines and exotic fruits. And the heavenly spirit fruits that Purple Shadow Secret Realm was known for were mostly in the central area. Although Lu Qingshan's trip was said to be a visit home to see Purple Shadow's secret realm and hone himself, he actually wanted to get a few heavenly spirit fruits to take back. After all, his sister Lu Qingzhu had only a 7th grade spiritual root, though he had prepared 2 foundation establishment elixirs. In his view, that was still too few. He thought she would need at least 7 or 8, so his sister could face the foundation establishment without any burden or psychological pressure. Moreover, there was also his younger brother, Lu Qingsong, at home. Though with their father's abilities, getting a few foundation establishment elixirs should not be difficult. But with so many siblings and stepmothers at home, he felt his father could hardly take care of everyone. So whatever he could take care of, he would handle himself. SAR the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. And this trip home, after seeing the situation at Qingzhou Mountain and his grandfather, he also thought of helping out as much as he could. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 952. Lu Chuanjin. My older brother seems pretty fierce. Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Ah, Taoist, spare my life. Taoist, where have we offended you? Please let us go. We'll give you everything we have. In a dense forest, piercing screams echoed. Several cultivators were seen frantically fleeing. Behind them rode a man on a giant wolf, leisurely pursuing them, occasionally releasing fireballs and wind blades. However, these fireballs and wind blades seemed to be toying with the few. The real killing intent came from above. Above the dense forest hovered a massive golden-crowned black feather eagle. On the eagle's back stood a man and a woman. The man was tall and sturdy, with a fierce and resolute face, holding a dark gold-colored great bow, drawing the bowstring towards the fleeing loose cultivators below. With a tremble of the bowstring, a blood-red arrow shot out, killing a loose cultivator below. This blood arrow seemed to have a demon nature, as its blood-red glow became even more intense after killing a person, returning to the burly man's hand. Tuoba Lai's blood feather arrow has become increasingly sharp. Now in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, I'm afraid no one can withstand the might of Brother Tuoba's single arrow, said the beautiful woman next to him with sultry eyes, as if water were about to drip from her eyes. Those maniacs from the Heavenly Sword Sect, and that Lu Qingshan, who was sent here earlier by a nascent soul immortal, are not to be underestimated, he said. Otherwise, why would I waste time here making arrows? The tall man, with his fierce brows and eyes gleaming with a dark golden luster like those of a hawk, was incredibly sharp. Amid his speech, he gently pulled the bowstring again, killing another person. Tuoba Lai, you madman! Yelled one of the 2 remaining fleeing cultivators, clearly recognizing the archer. He never expected to encounter the madman of Spirit Taming Sect in the secret realm. Spirit Taming Sect, Tuoba Lai. By a large tree, Lu Chuanjin, who hid his body, watched this scene, looking up at the eagle and the man and woman. Even in his eyes, this disciple of Spirit Taming Sect named Tuoba Lai was far from ordinary. Completely incomparable to the sect disciple he had killed before from Wuxia sect. However, the other's behavior reminded him of some rumors about Spirit Taming Sect. Although the Spirit Taming Sect was a righteous sect, it bordered the Myriad Beasts mountain range, and disciples of the sect all formed contracts with demon beasts, hunting them, spending long periods mixed with the beasts, which often caused them to acquire beastly traits. Thus, many disciples of Spirit Taming Sect had a strong urge to kill, and they acted arrogantly on a normal day. Even more unscrupulous than the sword cultivators from Heavenly Sword Sect. Now, seeing the 3 from Spirit Taming Sect kill wantonly and take joy in slaughter, he truly understood. Even so, he had no inclination to get involved with the situation at hand. Clearly, the strength of these 3 were not ordinary. Unless he went all out using second-rank talismans or second-rank puppets, he would not be a match for them. But he had a contingency plan, and as disciples of Spirit Taming Sect, they definitely had their own trump cards. So naturally, he wouldn't take the risk. However, after Tuoba Lai on the eagle's back killed the cultivator who had just cursed him, his eyes gleaming with dark golden light, He suddenly turned towards the location of Lu Chuanjin. There's another one hiding here. After observing for a moment, he sneered, drew the bowstring fully, and fired at Lu Quanzhen's location. Whoosh! The blood arrow streaked like a rainbow, bursting towards Lu Quanzhen's spot. Seeking death, Lu Chuanjin immediately felt locked in by a chi mechanism, his eyes suddenly cold. Xia the Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With a raise of his hand, a 5 elements colored little fish burst forth from the palm of his hand. Boom! The 5 elements colored little fish instantly collided with the blood-red arrow, triggering layers of explosive energy. Indeed not simple, remarked Lu Chuanjin. His eyes focused as he formed a gesture incantation, causing the 5 elements light to surge around the small fish, swallowing the blood-red arrow with force. Seeing the wolf-riding man nearby looking towards him, Lu Chuanjin chose not to entangle any further. He immediately executed the divine rock technique, soaring away like a sky pung, leaving a lingering image behind. Buzzing! The blood arrow continued to pulse with blood-red light, breaking through the 5 elements colored little fish and returning back to the hands of Tuoba Lai. Which sect's disciple is this man? Tuoba Lai on the eagle's back focused his eyes, feeling that his blood arrow was slightly diminished by the opponent just now. Judging by his clothing, he's not from our sects, said the beautiful woman by his side, her expression filled with surprise. She hadn't expected anyone besides the geniuses from the other 3 great immortal sects to be able to block her brother Tuoba's arrows. Interesting. Zhou Ba, don't let him escape, commanded Tuoba Lai, his eyes showing a trace of ferocity. As he looked at Lu Chuanjin, who was getting away with a snarl, the blood-colored arrow continued to rest on the bowstring. His chi locked on Lu Chuanjin. The man below, who was collecting a storage bag while riding the giant wolf, upon hearing his brother's words, instantly looked towards Lu Chuanjin and patted his giant wolf. Roar! The giant wolf howled, a hurricane emerging around it as it streaked towards Lu Chuanjin. You won't let it go, will you? Lu Quanzhen's figure soared, his eyes ice-cold, as he looked back at the golden-crowned black feather eagle in the sky. If it were 1-on-1, he was confident he could slay the opponent. But with 3 against 1, it would be difficult for him to approach and cut down this man named Tuoba Lai. Besides using a second-rank puppet and second-rank talisman, he couldn't think of another way to slay the opponent immediately. But he had to ensure all 3 were slain with a second-rank talisman. Otherwise, if even one managed to escape and later joined with other spirit-taming sect disciples, he would have trouble on his hands. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 953. Lu Chuanjin. My older brother seems pretty fierce. Just as Lu Chuanjin was thinking about escaping using a talisman, he suddenly realized he was not far from Lu Pingon. He alone dared not ensure the annihilation of all 3 enemies. But Lu Pingon also had a second-rank talisman in his hand. As long as Lu Pingon and he acted simultaneously, he was confident they could eliminate all 3. Immediately, Lu Quanzhen's eyes narrowed slightly, filled with killing intent as he channeled his spiritual power into his identity token, calling for Lu Pingan's help. He then flew towards the direction where Lu Pingon was located, and he held 2 second-rank talismans in his hand, waiting for the right moment. Roar! The giant wolf was very fast, relentlessly pursuing Lu Chuanjin. The golden-crowned black feather eagle in the sky was doing the same, relentlessly targeting Lu Chuanjin. At this moment, Lu Pingon was gathering spirit grass with old Taoist Kong and his grandson. It must be said, old Taoist Kong certainly had some exceptional skills in prospecting, which had yielded quite a rich harvest for Lu Pingon along the way. Although they had encountered 2 demon beasts, both were easily dealt with by Lu Pingon. Just then, an identity token appeared in Lu Pingan's hand. As he looked at the token trembling and emitting a red glow, his expression suddenly darkened, and a harsh light shone in his eyes. I have something to attend to. I'll be right back, Lu Pingon said to the 2 Taoists. As his words fell, his figure burst forth, stirring up a long trail of forceful wind and waves that whipped their robes. Has Taoist and encountered some trouble? Little Kong watched the rapidly disappearing Lu Pingon, looking somewhat shocked. Just now, a token appeared in his hand. It must be a token of summoning. Seems a friend is in trouble. Let's go take a look. This Taoist and is no ordinary person. If you can befriend him, there will be many benefits in the future, Old Kong immediately said. Though he had partnered with Lu Pingon partially because he recognized Lu Pingan's fighting abilities, the main reason was he saw that Lu Pingon was generous and kind-hearted, hoping his grandson could befriend him. After all, as a loose cultivator, he knew well the hardships of being one. He hoped his grandson could join a faction through Lu Pingon and follow him. ZZZT, ZZZT, ZZZT. Lu Pingon was very worried about Lu Quanzhen's safety and even used a Godspeed talisman on himself, boosting his speed to the extreme, making it hard to capture his movement. Had he not cultivated the 100 Refinements treasure body art to the 5th layer, an ordinary energy refining cultivator wouldn't have been able to withstand such speed. Before long, Lu Pingon sensed that the chi emitted by the token was just ahead. He saw a golden-crowned black eagle hovered in the sky with 2 figures on it. One of them held a bow and arrow and was shooting downwards hunter-style. You! Seeking death! Lu Pingon immediately understood the situation and roared furiously at the figures on the eagle, his voice booming like thunder exploding across the heavens. Lu Pingon was usually not inclined to fight or kill, but at that moment, seeing someone hunting his brother like prey, a surge of intense rage and killing intent filled his heart. Death! Lu Pingan's foot tapped, and his whole body, like a ferocious dragon released from its cage, shot into the sky, his large and mighty body blasting through layers of air. Boom! 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 His tall and majestic body now seemed like a rising dragon, his muscles swelling as if they were expanding, endless treasure light flowing through his body. Ha! Tuoba Lai, seeing Lu Pingon suddenly appear, was instantly on edge, sensing intense danger. But the next moment, his lips curled into a cruel smile, and he loudly said, "Very good, very good. It seems the Purple Shadow Secret Realm is truly interesting, adding much pleasure." In the same breath, a black gold sharp arrow appeared in his hand, aimed at Lu Pingon. The beautiful woman beside him was naturally not just for show. Seeing this and knowing Lu Pingon was a body cultivator wanting to get close, she immediately performed a gesture incantation, and a red luo umbrella appeared in the air, her hand supporting a law bead. SHSH. The black gold sharp arrow burst forth with a dazzling radiance, the sound of wind and thunder, shooting towards Lu Pingan's brow, aiming to kill with a single strike. Who? Lu Pingon pulled back his right fist as if gathering all his force and the surrounding air into his fist. A mighty black great axe emerged behind him, spanning the heavens and the earth. Split the mountain. His fist thundered out, and the great axe slashed down, unleashing an unstoppable, ferocious, and dominant force, annihilating everything in its path. Danger! 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 Tuoba Lai's mind sounded alarm bells of danger, feeling a cloud of lethal threat envelop him like never before. Not just him, the beautiful female cultivator beside him and the golden-crowned black feather eagle below them were enveloped by the death shadow, filled with fear. Sar the novel F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They couldn't understand what was happening. Wasn't the secret realm only supposed to allow energy refining cultivators? This kind of power, and you're telling me he's an energy refining cultivator? But they didn't have time to think further, as the divine fist had already obliterated the black gold sharp arrow and was now right in front of them. Boom! 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 The red luo umbrella, the body-protecting beads, the body-protecting robe, the body-protecting chi barrier, all shattered under the force of the punch, perfectly demonstrating what it means to break all laws with sheer force. At that moment, both the people and the eagle exploded into a shower of blood. This, Lu Chuanjin, watching from above, was momentarily stunned and a bit confused. He hadn't even transmitted how to make their move, Yet Lu Pingon had already made his, and his big brother seemed a bit fierce. Even he felt a chill in his heart facing that burst of ferocity. Lu Chuanjin didn't think much further, his expression ice-cold as he looked towards the wolf rider behind him, his eyes full of murderous intent. "You've followed for so long. Let's see what you've got. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible."